now entering the Bass Galaxy.
This is Teal's Bass Galaxy. I'm your host. This podcast is about raw, real conversations with real awesome people about bass fishing, bass boats, and heck, there are no limits in the galaxy. This podcast is brought to you by the Dream Team at Supreme Lending, Veselka Fishing and Customs, and just north of Memphis, Barbecue, also known as JNO Memphis. Joining us on today's episode is three Bassstronauts. Yeah. Co-hosting is my good buddy JP, Justin Pinkerton, a.k.a. Spielberg, and two new, unique, awesome guests. One of them you've seen before. You've maybe seen him on the streets of Thailand, on the YouTube, and he's also fishing the Classic Bass Champions Tour in 2023. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Sam Sobi in the house. And also joining Sam Sobi, we've got some of the best lettuce in the game, Goldilocks. He's won a boat on the co-angler side. He's won countless things. He's a hammer. He's powerful. He's almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, Chad Smith, Sam Sobi, co-hosted by Justin Pinkerton. Let's do this.
We are. Well,
Yeah.
let's open up with the happy days first and foremost. Boom. Happy days to the Bass Galaxy, and happy days to your producer,
Cheers, boys.
Coleslaw Loke Mas, per se.
Dude.
He's behind the scenes. He's working the magic. I saw the progression, at least from the pilot up to now, and it's unbelievable. And I'm here as a friend, a fan, and a guest second.
Remember
So,
last time we were in my parents' house,
Yep.
and I'm like, yo, I'm going to get this. I'm going to
Yep.
get a place of my own.
we had GoPros, we had some different stuff set up, and you guys were just getting into the podcast game, and we dreamed of one day, having on Chad Smith.
And now here we are, and we finally have somebody more famous and more beautiful than you.
I know,
Chadwick, Jared Allen, Emmett Smith, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
can't even look at that hair.
My God.
Can't even
Look at
it.
that hair. Straight off the California beaches of San Diego.
It's flat, calm in here, but it's still flowing.
Yeah, my goodness.
I know.
I always knew my spirit animal was somewhere in Cali.
Sobi's going to need a new pair of shorts.
Flood warnings are happening. Laundry mats are going out of business. Basements are flooding. Get the mop.
Get the mop, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
No, but seriously, thank you. Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's a
Dude.
beautiful spring day, and we have the opportunity to come up here and hop on your podcast. And like I said, we're fans. We're
Totally.
fans of this. Friends first, but definitely hardcore fans. You have an amazing podcast, and what you and Lil K Moss have done here, it's incredible.
dude.
No, it's been great, dude. I love listening to these.
Cole's the man. Couldn't do it without him. And I've been looking up to you boys since '93, just so you know that. Yeah. So the respect is mutual. The respect is real. And I'm doing the interview here, so
Okay.
don't forget that.
Happy
No,
days.
I'm just kidding. Fucking no rules in the galaxy. But seriously, thanks for coming out. And I'm just so happy because I thought the lake that I just moved to was going to be completely dead. And then you and Chad were sitting on the dock holding hands tonight with them slip bobbers.
Cut
And
that.
Chad got himself a bite. Touching hands, not holding hands. Hey.
Thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying that.
Yeah, no,
So if
Neil
he's got a
Diamond.
vice
Neil
grip.
Diamond, not, yeah.
But
Touching hands.
We rolled up in here to the Bass Galaxy HQ, and it's a total bass cave. Teal has rods and these JDM baits laying out everywhere, and hand-tied hair jigs, and we got the full tour. And then, like you said, Chad and I rolled down to the dock, and we proceeded to,
Get one bite.
get one bite.
Get one bite, yeah.
But you have a beautiful place here.
Dude, this is cool.
This is the Bass Cave. This is a setup.
I
like the remodel.
Yeah,
Looks sweet.
It's ever expanding, so
Oh, yeah.
it's going to keep evolving, But It's kind of out in Egypt here, so like the gas prices nowadays. Just appreciate you boys making the trip.
Yeah.
And what the hell have you guys been up to,
I'll let Chad start to the left.
Chad?
I'm starting. All right. Honestly, I've just been working a bunch, getting things all dialed up, ready. Been organizing everything. I didn't touch my gear until like a few weeks ago, really, and living in my own spot now, just renting from a buddy. Got kind of a little basement area and kind of got a little tackle room dialed up. Put some
Very
pegboard
dialed.
up. That's kind of been like a long time goal, so I'm
Yeah.
feeling good about that, and it's just kind of fun to get all organized. And I got the boat back, and just it's starting to feel real, especially with the weather we got right now. So it's moments away, but working a bunch, working 2 jobs, serving and bartending at a restaurant, and then working full time on top of that. So it's been good, but keeping me busy, and it's fun to be able to come do this. This is more like a vacation for me, actually.
Hell yeah.
Well, good, man. That's what we're here to do. Have a good time. So you guys are both fishing Champions Tour?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Which is awesome because
No,
it's awesome. It's so cool.
I'm gonna start with you, Sobi. A lot of people make fun of YouTubers, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, no. I hear you, but you haven't met Sobi. Like, he's better than Milliken. Like, you know what I mean? This guy's the real deal.
Yeah,
Like, I always hype you up. and
Everyone
I'm a little
literally
scared
says
of
that
you.
too. Everyone literally says, "Here's Sobi," and then here is Ben Milliken. Like everyone says that. Even my mom, especially my mom. My mom always.
Sobi's
says that.
glides glide 2 inches wider on average.
No, but I'm excited to fish the Champions Tour, and there is definitely a stigma out there that like YouTubers are hacks. And don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of them that are complete hacks. You know what I mean? If you're just revolving your whole channel around catching bass on a gummy worm off a Barbie doll rod off the dock, that's not my style. You know what I mean? And I grew up fishing tournaments. I grew up with you guys and a bunch of different greasy fish heads, and I'm so sick for it. And I'm definitely probably going to get my butt kicked in the Champions Tour, but I really, really, really believe that I'm going to compete. And I'm going to come out learning, more or less. Just the amount of, I guess, like the amount of amazing anglers that you compete against at the Champions Tour, and then how diverse you have to be, and then everything's changing. Like it's going to be a win-win no matter if I finish dead last.
Are you gonna film it?
Absolutely. I'm
Heck
going
yeah.
to try.
To be clear,
it'll
he's
be
more of
fun.
a Snoopy pole guy than a Barbie rod.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
Makes
Like
sense. I was kidding. No, dude, it's cool because you have like a pretty hard like tournament past, and so like you're as legit as they come, dude. I've never had to fish against you, and I'm not really looking forward to it, to be honest.
dude, I'm so excited because like before I signed up for the Champions Tour, previous years, Chad was fishing the Opens, and I went to go film the Opens with Joel and Greg and travel with them. But during that time, like we got to kind of like camp and chill with Chad, and I was chilling with Joel Willert and Greg Mansfield and all these other folks that like are just bad to the bone anglers. And now after kind of the rules changed and just time happened, all those familiar faces are coming now to fish the Champions Tour.
Willard's fishing too?
Willard's fishing.
Yeah,
too.
he's gonna be in them. Wow, it's gonna
be a reunion.
be a heck of
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I welcome it. I welcome the competition. And
It makes you better in the end, for
sure.
You know,
as if that tour wasn't hard enough.
When's the first event?
Dead
Big
Lake
Stone.
and like,
Big
not Dead
Stone.
Lake. What am I thinking? I'm
End
thinking
of
of that.
June.
I don't know why I said that.
Sobi, you got to feel a little bit of pressure, though, with all those people watching.
Yeah, no, I honestly do. I feel a ton of pressure. I've never fished this format. I've never done any of this. I've fished tournaments my whole life, but I've never fished, every fish counts format. And you guys have all done it. So I'd just like to hear, what was your first tournament like fishing that format?
Oh, you'll be fine. Don't
Don't
choke.
Don't you tell me that.
No,
It's-
I got my ass handed to me the
it's-
first one, and
It's a
spun out.
wild deal. I know there's been some stigma in like the industry for like the every fish count stuff, but I actually had a blast doing it. Like it was crazy, and it's kind of fun too because you feel like you kind of get on like a momentum roll if you do start catching. If you catch one or whatever, you're like, okay, they got to weigh over a pound or whatever it is, and but you're like, okay, I got a pound, or whatever, and you start to like feel that momentum growth. And I just remember being on the Mississippi back in 2020 when I did it for the first time. We were on pool 4 and 5, or yeah, I think no, I don't know. Maybe it was just pool 4, but nonetheless, it was crazy because I like ran way up into Red Wing. I was like fishing the dam, and get up there, and my marshal's like, "So do you want to know?" And I'm like, don't start like that. You know,
I'm
like,
out of Wabasha.
yeah, we
Okay,
took out
so
a wild
long
shot.
run
So
to Red Wing. Got
Or
it.
yeah, no, we were up in Lake City actually.
long
Yeah, but
run to
nonetheless,
Red
so like
Wing.
you got to run half a pep in, and then you like run up, and it's like all the way up to the dam. It's like a little bit of a trek, not that bad, but it's like I get up there, and I mean we're like 25 minutes in maybe to the tournament, and all of a sudden it's like John Figgy has 40 or 34 pounds or something. And I'm like, what? I haven't even casted yet. I was like, I did this all wrong. But the second half, I was able to kind of come back and get a check because I had a little sand drop deal. That was kind of cool. But I had like smallmouth, like literally cartwheeling over my spook.
That's so sick. Just the mental side of it, though. Like he just said, before he even made a cast, like somebody has substantial weight up there.
And they got to tell you.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, you know how people are doing during
you
it.
know how bad you suck.
You just got to like learn how to just, I don't know. It's so hard to keep that out of your head.
5-fish format's like baseball, and like Champions Tour is like hockey. It's a little more fast paced, like feeling, like the internal feeling, and then the flow. And hockey's a very momentum based sport, and I think baseball is too, but more of like a.
It's wild to know you won before you got in.
That would be the best ride back.
You know,
Is
whatever,
is
where
it
you're
final? I've never fished them, so is it like?
It's basically final. I think they do like some final confirmations of things. It's kind of like you win bingo, but like they got to confirm your card.
But like if it's down to like ounces though, it could like it
can
could
get
be
hairy
like
and
my shit didn't
right
upload or it didn't
right.
Well, there's there's been that
Wi-Fi.
for sure.
Yeah,
there's
that
been
totally.
like drama about that stuff, and I think the people running it do a really good job, and I think Newman's about as good a tournament director as it gets. He's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, he's solid. Yeah,
he just is what it is. So they do. I think they do a really good job. But it's good event. You don't feel like you have time to like try shit. Like in a 5-fish derby, you feel like you can kind of like, oh, we can go bang this for fucking half hour, you know?
That's the scariest part. It's like you have that feeling in your brain that you can't go try stuff, but at the same time you have to go make adjustments.
Bingo.
Like those dudes that like Noah and all those dudes that crush it, like they're making adjustments, they're running new water, they're doing all that. I watch the videos and I've listened to all the podcasts, like, and that's going to be the scariest thing because like you guys know, like beginning of a derb, like I feel like that first half hour I'm not fishing right the beginning of that half hour because you're just like,
you're shaking.
yeah, you're fired up, dude. You're fired up, and I'm scared that same fire up is gonna like carry through. Or do you feel like you settle down after like the first hour if you're catching?
I don't know. It's all forced almost. Like you almost feel like you're just having to make
Depends
the
on
right
the
call all
tournament.
the time. Every cast counts so hard that you're like, I mean, not that it doesn't usually, but yeah, it's super pressuresome. But it kind of makes it a fun, different aspect than what you'd be used to in like a 5-fish tournament.
I'm shaking way harder for Champs Tour. Like because you get to your spot and you can't cast till 7.
Yeah, you're
So
literally
you get to your spot at like 6:50 or 6:53, and you have to look at your spot for fucking 7 minutes.
and
then,
just
and then
think
the thoughts
about-
come in. The thoughts come
Yeah.
in. Did I choose X or did I choose Y?
Well, if you're shallow, at least like you don't look at your graph and like look at active target. That gull tournament, it was like 7 minutes of watching kidney beans on my starting spot, and I couldn't even cast like the first cast. I was shaking. It was like I was watching kidney beans are like swimming around on the freaking juice right on the sweet spot, and I was a bad boat draw, so I couldn't believe I got it. A. And B, there's a school sitting on your starting spot, and it's the Champions Tour, and you just got your butt kicked for like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the one, and you had 7 minutes of just watching it, and like, yeah.
Man.
So I actually calmed down as the day went on with that, but other ones is the other way around.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get more wound up as the day goes on. Like you're behind, and you're just trying
Well,
to
it's
claw back.
crazy
and-
too because they got like those halves that you have to like if you're on a roll. I mean, you got to stop that, and then you take a break. You go eat lunch, and you're sitting there like, what the heck?
Like
you know?
you said in previous podcasts, you're like, you never eat the lunch.
No,
And
dude, I'm too anxious.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like- I'd feel like you're just not in the mindset to just like.
And then you gotta go
Wow,
fish a
that's
whole
it.
nother half of the lake after you just left something. If that's the case or whatever, but it's a mind game.
You got planned for that, but you don't know till the night before. So practice, you have to like.
Cover your ground.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Be able to catch them on the whole lake. And I guess that's a really cool twist and turn that I feel like people don't completely know about the Champions Tour, like an average fan per se.
Right.
They might just see like, oh, it's every fish format, blah 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 blah, but they don't know that they split the lake, and
Good
it's
point.
that's like such an element, dude. Like,
It is. But there's guys who have like Champions Tour pretty well. Like, it's different than five fish in the variance of people's finishes. Like for the top like 10 guys, there's 10 guys that fish the Champions Tour that take the top 10 or 15 every single
Consistent
tournament.
juggernaut.
what are they doing different?
So it's something that you can, I think, figure out because there's less, you weigh your five biggest, there's a little bit of your spot fired for 3 bites, 2 bites.
Yep.
I mean, you get 2 big bites in a 5 fish,
Can be the derb.
bingo. So I think Champions Tour, it's not that. You need 20 good bites.
Just gotta go get bit.
You need
Yeah.
50 good. Yeah, it's literally. So the guys who can figure out, like, there's guys who just get bit more.
Yeah.
And
For
you
sure.
look at the MLF deal, it's the same way. Jacob Wheeler does, like, the guys who are excelling at MLF continuously excel at MLF. Like,
It is weird. It's kind of like
It's
a
weird that way.
strategic way that they've got something figured out where they're.
like, you can average
fits
better.
their style
Your
or
average can
something.
be
Yeah.
your average finish can be better once you figure it out. And I feel like I'm just starting to figure it out. We'll see.
What's
I
your
don't know.
what's your stance on all this, JP? Because working at Intune, you've seen Brian and Teal,
Spielberg.
and you've heard all the doc talk post tournament, pre tournament, and you understand the format. You understand what's going on. So, like, what's your thoughts
I
on
could have won if I was.
it? If you had a quarter for every time.
Yeah.
Talking Bankston or me?
No, everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone walking through the doors. No.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's really interesting. I really do. I'm excited for when like filming comes into play, like when it's like a live event where people are watching like the top 5 guys. Like, I mean, Scott's gonna eventually get to that, I'm sure, but I think it's a cool event, and obviously it's top payout in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it is. It
Brings
is, isn't it?
the top guys in Minnesota for sure. So I'm definitely, that's on my to-do list for sure eventually. I'm just getting into it.
That's
so,
awesome.
Heck
so,
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Sobi shit talking Noah Schultz? What was that on the website? Like on your angler profile? or
Yeah, on my
something?
Angler Pro. Like,
Yeah.
Well, like, it's just
That's a
what?
rapper. That's like a hip hop rapper move. Like call out the
starting
tallest.
beef already, dude?
I
Yeah,
was.
that's a Pusha T album move.
I'm
call
like
out
friends
Drake,
with
the
these
tallest in
guys.
the game.
That's funny.
So, like, Glenn Walker is the tournament director. I've known Glenn for years.
for,
and, like,
for Classic Bass, he is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shout out Glenn Walker.
Yeah.
Is that his official
That's
position?
that's his real name. Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, he sends, like, I don't know, like, whenever like people that I know really well will like send me formal things, I just feel like I just can't even, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, Sam, Glenn here, wondering if you can fill out your angler profile. We need your date of birth, your hometown, a little something about you.
You're like, yeah, for sure, dude.
And I'm like, and I just instantly are like I'm on my phone. I'm like, okay, we'll tell Noah Schultz there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Sam Sobi. I don't know. That was it, like right off the cuff, and then I went into like actual detail, being like, no, I'm not, honestly really excited to learn and stuff like that. But I do want to bring. There is, like, you know, from being on the Champions Tour, like, there's good camaraderie around like high level fishermen within this state, and just this state and the Midwest alone. Like, we know each other, so it's like there's not bad blood, or maybe there is some, but like there's a mutual respect level. But everybody wants to take each other out. They're all assassins on the water. You
I'm
know what I
waiting
mean?
for Noah's diss track.
I
Like,
know. Like, I
drop a diss
I
track.
love Noah and his wife and his family, but I wanna put the heat on him. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
Fishing's
Like,
like,
I wanna-
the only sport you can lie to your best friend, but it's okay.
If I had a Twitter, I would tweet that right now.
Are you serious?
I mean,
You guys are cold. My best friend lies to me.
I'm just kidding, but it's that kind of cutthroat. It's weird,
It is weird.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just stretching the truth.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game too. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, I feel like, and then like you all know, you've talked about it on the podcast a million times, like how much that the mental aspect is of it. Like, if you can get in some dudes' heads,
Yeah.
I feel like,
You know what
totally.
they say: keep
Yeah.
your friends close and your enemies closer. Why do you think
Totally.
you're here? Well, welcome. Yeah.
I feel like I take this from Willert straight up.
Oh, dude.
He is the slyest son of a gun ever, dude. He is
Yeah.
sly, and he is
Don't trust you, a Willard.
not
No?
that. He just
He'll
he will-
honeypot you.
He
Oh.
you talk about. You've been fishing get some longer than me.
Dude, he's. Gosh dang it! I don't even know what to believe that comes out of his mouth ever.
Oh shit!
Like, I don't care if we're just chilling normal. I'm like, you know, I'm just kind of not sure.
Oh, you think he's like
No, he's
making
got-
you sniff a different path?
Yeah,
making
totally.
you sniff
I'm
a
like,
different
I'm
blood
like,
trail.
I don't want to talk. You talk.
He could just switch it up. Like, it could be a really, really wicked bite, and he's like the first dude to come and be like, have literally not caught a bass. Haven't caught a bass.
He got like 4 or 5 pounders that day.
Yeah. And then he could,
100%.
and then he could also come in and look Chad dead in the face and be like, dude, I'm honestly smashing him. Like, this is stupid. Like, I don't think I'll be able to get 5 pounders, but 4.5s are like, if I could figure out how to upgrade from 4.5s.
Yeah, and then he didn't catch anything that day.
Yeah.
I mean, okay,
So
this
it's
is all like
opposite day with
this is all
Will.
like grain of salt stuff, but like
Yeah.
more so, it's just like that's how like we get along, and
Yeah.
it's so fun.
It's
but
it's fun. It's awesome.
it's just like, oh man, wait, I don't know if I can actually believe you right now.
Best poker. So I don't
Best
know.
poker face.
I don't know. Andy Walls is like probably
he's-
the best poker face I'm like. I don't know whether you're fucking with me or being honest with me right now.
Yeah, and he's such a nice dude too.
Oh, he's
so
a
you
great
wanna
dude. I
believe
love
everything,
Andy.
you
Like,
know?
I love him,
yeah.
but he's just, and he'll be like, "No, I'm dead ass," and he might be,
But you
but
like
you-
really
like, are
don't
you?
know.
But I'm like,
You're like, really?
you're really throwing that, dude? Really?
And that's just like the gamesmanship of the sport. So,
But that's what makes it fun, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta have that too, because I mean that's what keeps everyone competitive.
For sure.
So
For sure.
Can't give them all your secrets.
yeah,
No, you
This is
give
part
him
of
a
the
snack.
game.
You don't have to give him the whole kitchen.
exactly.
so before this year, you were fishing the opens.
Yeah.
And what was the biggest
right.
like determining factor that made you go, I want to fish local, I want to fish Champions Tour? I feel like this is your, reassurance back into Minnesota, back into local fishing. Not that you're fishing like local derbs, you're fishing big time Midwest derbs, but like, why Champions Tour? Why this year? Why now?
I mean, I like honestly, it's probably solely the competition. I mean, like I've been fishing the open since. I mean, whether you want to count co-angler, boater,
I count
whatever,
it.
you
I
know,
count
like
it.
all of it. But it's,
Yep,
I
fishing's
mean,
fishing.
this year, if I were to enter the opens, it'd be my decade year, doing them. And
Damn.
so it's kind of wild, but like I'm, I got kind of in a financially hard spot, just being straight up, and it was one of those hard decisions. I think I let my ego get in the way that I didn't want to ever be that guy that like, after doing it for that long, I didn't want to back out. But now, like I got over that pretty quick. But now I'm like able, it's fun for this year at least. Plan is to get back to them, but I had fished the Champions Tour in 2020 when COVID hit and stuff. Some of the opens got all screwed up, and ended up hopping in those, and I had a blast doing it. And the competition's really good. I feel like it made me a better angler, and overall, like, I mean, also like for sure the cash prizes, like, that speaks to something too. But I'm doing the team trail with Connor Graham and
It's awesome.
Con Dog, and
Yikes.
so that'll be fun. But it's just kind of like those are like,
Why
like,
can't
I
you
haven't-
just go pro? God, what the heck?
hey, I've been trying.
I'm just, I'm just
Fields
hearing
are
it.
stacked.
I
I feel
like
like
it.
for any series around
I
here.
like it.
I'm curious of your
Yeah, dude.
I'm curious of your co-angler days and how that all was.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. That's
On
what
the
I was gonna
opens.
say. Like,
Chad made cash money as a coach.
So,
That's all
I
I'm
bet,
saying.
dude.
dude, I mean, Intune, you won a big Chad won a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Like Chad won a boat out the back of some pro ass's boat.
Yeah,
Like,
shout out Teal.
he won a
for
boat out of
helping
someone
me out with
else's
that whole
boat, dude.
situation.
He won a boat out of someone else's boat.
Imagine just being a
That
pro.
is way more gangster than like winning out of your own
looking
boat.
at your go like in the weigh-ins. and be like,
I won out of this guy's boat. I won a boat out of that guy's boat.
thank you for your time.
Yeah. No, dude, I don't know. The
That's
Collingwood
sweet.
thing, it was like a real big learning curve for me. So like I had never, I never had any track record local. I mean, I was in like middle school, high school when I really became aware of like the tournament scene, and I was fishing with some local guys around, Dusty Mon and Cody Drazel. They, I didn't know it at the time, but it turns out they're pretty stout juggernauts on like Minnetonka back in the day, at least. And
Still are,
to,
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still to
That's
this
like-
day, right? So
my eyes lit up. Those are dangerous
Yeah,
names when
and
we're
so-
talking the Metro, dude.
Assassins, bass assassins.
So like, I just got to know them actually through my sister more so. They're all like the same age, and it was pretty fun. No, yeah. No,
That's how I met you too.
yeah.
Easy boy.
But
Here
so
and
like,
there.
so I got tied in.
Easy killer.
Hey, where's the ice at?
Yo, we got more ice. You need more.
Oh yeah, let's do that again.
Continue though,
Pretty
please.
good. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
no, so I got to
All right.
grow up fishing with them and whatnot, and it was pretty fun. But I got to like meet like Seth and Figgy through them, and like some of those guys. And I was working at Gander Mountain at the time in high school, and I was Kyle Wood actually worked at the same Eden Prairie Gander Mountain. He was in college, I was in high school, and so I mean he went out. Obviously, he's a little older than I am, and we Kyle called me one day, and it was the week of my high school graduation, and he was like, hey man, like, Figgy's looking for a co-angler link for a Bassmaster Open. Like, I didn't even really know that much about him, but he was like, thank you. And he like sorry, multitasking, but he linked me up with Figgy. I ended up on the phone with Figgy that night, and he's like, hey, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I'm totally interested, whatever. Like, what are the details of everything? Like, when we leave, when would we leave? He's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about leaving like Wednesday, and this is Sunday night. And so I'm like, dude, I graduate high school on Friday.
Chad's just like relining his reels in the
Yeah,
garage
dude,
that night.
I was
like,
actually leaving Parker Knutson's house on Bryant Lake, and we were like, I was leaving that night. It's like 10:30 at night or whatever, and I just hop on this call with Figgy, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, hang on, like, let me call my parents quick. Like, I don't really know what's going on with all this, And so I like explained the situation. They obviously knew I was into fishing, and my dad's like, you don't have to walk at graduation. I'm like, what?
wait.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, sweet. So like, he's like, I would go do it. And I'm like, say less. I like hung up the phone, called Figgy. I'm like, I'm in. I just got to talk to my counselor tomorrow and tell her that I'm not walking.
That's dope.
And so I go into my counselor the next day at school. I'm like skipping my first hour. Like, I don't care anymore. I'm checked out, right? And so I go in there. I'm like trying to explain this situation to her. She goes, yeah, I kind of know like a local like pro fisherman guy. His name's John Figgy. I'm like, that's who I'm going with. And they're like, she's like, no way, go have fun. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like, how
John
do you know?
dated her for sure.
I don't know.
You
Like,
dated a John.
I know. But it's so funny. And so I'm like, that's crazy. And so, yeah. But it was great. I don't know. I just couldn't even believe it. And so, like, I hit the road with Figgy and Seth. And my mom dropped me off at Figgy's place in Bloomington. And,
it's unreal. That's
Seth
honestly
and
unreal.
Seth and Figgy roll out with their boats. I hop in Figgy's truck and we headed to the James River. And that was my first co-angler open. Sucked it up, but it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Dude, shout out to Mr. Smith. That's a dad move. Letting your son, like, hey,
Absolutely.
Dude,
you
I've
don't
been-
have to, you don't have to be there to graduate, right? You're like,
Yeah, I know.
Thanks,
I was
Dad.
like, seriously, no, it's been cool. Like I've been very fortunate with like parents who have supported me like in the like mentality aspect of following what I want to do.
that's what's up, dude.
So it's been cool. I've been very, very fortunate with
That's
that.
cool.
Like seriously, like that's a supportive dad move, like
Yeah.
in a big way.
Yeah.
And you had quite a bit of success on the co-angler side, and this is throw your humble pie, towards the garage door and let her buck, bud. Like you,
Yeah.
like what I think's cool about what you've learned and what you've experienced that I haven't, that Sam hasn't. Maybe like minus the Thailand, but JP hasn't. Like you fished lakes everywhere in the country with different anglers who think differently and approach all of those lakes differently. Like I just want to like hop inside your brain. I want to Elon Musk Neuralink right into that shit
And it's
right
not
now,
like,
dude.
It's not like, Chad, you've just fished derbies on a wide variety of southern bodies of water. You've got to practice with some very, very prevalent names in the fishing industry all across the country. So it's like,
Sure.
so the tournaments, honestly, I feel like that's just cherry on top for you. But what you've learned probably practicing with those guys is
The learning
priceless.
comes in the practice way more than the actual tournament days.
I agree with
for sure. Because I mean, I've had a lot of time in the boat with Josh Douglas, and then Seth Fighter and John Figgy, all around.
That's a good lineup right there.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Some good guys to practice
No
with.
kidding.
I mean, dude,
Who
I'm
are your
still, like-
friends?
but no,
No
it's,
offense, Mom, but you haven't exactly side scanned Kentucky Lake.
Same book club no more.
but no, I mean, dude, it still to me is just the coolest thing ever, and like I wish I could do more of that still to this day, because I learned so much from those guys, and more so just like seeing the thought process of how they break things down. I think that was like the biggest learning curve. I think naturally I've spent the most time with Josh, so I've developed a lot of his style with how he.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com. This episode is brought to you by just north of Memphis Barbecue. This is World Champion Barbecue. If you smoke meat and you don't like good barbecue, I do not know what to tell you right now besides you need to try some of this stuff. They've got their rub. They've got their sauces right on their website. They've got their famous dry rub award-winning seasoning that you could put on ribs, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, wings, anything you like to put on the smoker, on the oven, on the grill, any meat you like to cook, you need some of this dry rub seasoning in your life. But don't forget the sauce, because that's award-winning world champion sauce here. No matter what flavor you like, they've got 3 different sauces, and they are all good. You can drink them straight out the bottle. We've got Sweet Christie's for all you sweet-loving barbecue folk. We've got Christie's Mischief for all you spicy bass anglers out there. And then we've got Christie's Gold. And they'll sell all 3 of them in a combo, but you need to go to their website right now. It's jnomemphis.com. That's jnomemphis.com. Dry rub, sauce, barbecue. Let's go.
He thinks about things, and it's fun when we've been at like an open lately. We kind of both are able to like bounce ideas off each other and stuff like that, and I feel like we've learned to trust each other to a degree too. That it's been fun. But I mean, dude, the co-angler, like the success I had was so far after like the nitty gritty that people like haven't seen. And I mean, it took me until like my 7th open until I even cashed my first check. And I remember driving to Lake Erie with Josh, and I was like freshly dropped out of school that year and stuff like that. And I was like, gosh dang it, did I make the right choice like here? Because I didn't have any money. I still don't, but like I was so green into the scene that I didn't have any idea what I was getting myself into. And I was like sitting there having heart-to-heart talks with Josh, driving, all across the country. And, like, dude, I was a pre-med student. I was like, doing all this. And like, that was like my plan there. And he's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you there, really. But it was just like, I was regretting some of that decision because it was a really hard go. Sure. And I got that first check at Lake Erie, and it gave me enough to finish the year, finish what I started. I went to Table Rock then. I was actually bouncing back and forth with Figgy and Josh. And, I missed a check at Table Rock, but I went home just tail between my legs, just like, I don't know what's going on right now. And I don't know if I made the right choice. And kind of through talking to Josh, he was going to fish the Opens again the next year. And I ended up, he ended up talking me into doing it one more time. And I fished just the Northern Opens that year. And so we went, I got a check at Lake Oneida, and then missed a check at the James River for like the third time. It kind of sucked. That place just had my name. And then we went to Lake Champlain, and I finished 4th, got my first top 10, and that's when things started really rolling. I kind of went on like a streak, I guess, from that point, and ended up like the next year, because that was the last event of the season. The next year I got I don't know, I think it was like 10th at the Harris Chain, missed at Lake Chickamauga, got 2nd at the James River, got it back. And then
nice
redemption.
Yeah. And then
gotcha.
I don't know, we went to Lake Oneida. Josh and I both finished 9th, which was kind of cool because we practiced together. You always kind of joke like, let's go both win, and we both finished 9th. We both got top 10 there. And then I finished 5th at Douglas Lake. So I won Co-Angler of the Year in the Northern Opens. And then after that point, I had 5 top 10s in 7 consecutive Opens. And then went on the following year, I ended up building some relationships through that season that kind of had some sponsor dollars coming in. It was pretty fun. And the next year I fished the FLW Tour with Josh. The last year they had the Co-Anglers, and won division of the Opens when they first went to Eastern and Central. And got a top 10 at Kissimmee. I finished 6th, and then I won Lake Norman, the boat, and then I got
Triton.
A few top 10s and checks in the FLW Tour, and another top 10 the
Don't
Opens. And just
don't
kinda,
skip over I won Lake Norman. It was the boat. Give me
He won a boat out of another guy's boat.
give me a few more adjectives that go.
You want to
along
know
with
my
it.
driving factor actually for winning that boat?
Yeah.
100%. I was so mad because Joel Willert won on Smith Lake in the FLW Tour that year as a co-angler. And I was Joel's a good friend, so I was stoked for him, but there's that jealousy that you're just hit list, I'm like, okay. Next one, he won on Lake Cumberland, won back-to-back FLW Tour events. As a co-angler.
Yeah.
I was just heatedly happy for him. I was so mad. And so I go to Lake Norman. That was the next event. And
I'm
I'm
so proud of you. I hate you.
and I literally I told Josh, I'm I'm going to win this one. I'm going to win this one. I don't know what, why or how I feel that, but I'm so mad right now. It was crazy. And Josh, I think he got a check, or he was really close to that tournament, but he left and he went to Kentucky Lake because we had an FLW Tour event the next week. And so I wake up in my truck alone at the campsite, usually Bree's cooking us food and everything. We got it made, dude.
Okay.
It's so nice.
That
But
sounds nice.
so I'm all alone. I'm just free rolling. I'm driving to the boat ramp. It's dark, and I look at my passenger seat and I go I'm taking that trophy to Kentucky Lake. I'm gonna. I said it out loud by myself in my truck, listening to some rap. And I'm
Rap music.
yeah.
Do you know which song?
Young
I
Dolph.
don't,
Some
man.
Young
But yeah,
Dolph.
I was probably Young Dolph or yeah, dude. I listen to some thug stuff.
Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dolph.
Oh yeah.
Put on.
Totally.
For the
But-
dead homies.
Dude, it's crazy. And then I ended up winning, and
You won that tournament.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it was the weirdest thing. I just had never felt like that. in my entire life. Like, I was that confident that I like in my head, like wasn't, I wasn't boasting about it in any which way, but it was like, I felt like I really felt like I had that one. It was weird.
Before it even started.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's like some
Like, and like,
that's some
minus-
desert Indian
That's some
voodoo,
voodoo
shit.
minus like
Some
pre-fishing,
gypsy.
minus whatever. It was just like a mentality aspect, because I knew once I got out on the water, like anything I was doing with Josh could be a whole different game when I hop out there.
Seen Beer Fest?
He manifested
What?
it.
Seen Beer Fest? You
No.
guys seen the movie Beer Fest?
Yeah, yeah.
You know when he gets like the eye of the Jew, and they put him at they put him immediately at the end of the line for the boot. You're like,
It is weird.
You had it.
It was really weird, but like my first bass of the tournament too was like a 4-pound largemouth, which was like super crucial there. And I was like, I got this. I know I got this.
Do you speak and pray to the bass gods in the bass galaxy?
Yeah, dude, they're up there.
How
Do
did
you
there
like
for
to get
sure.
the vibe? Like, okay, I'll go there. Like
Oh, yeah.
energy, right?
Oh,
Positive
100%.
energy,
Oh, yeah.
mentality. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, give me the
you're-
opportunities, let me leave it all out there.
well, like that. So you're talking like that feeling, like that aura, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
just
someone's
feeling
watching
it,
over me,
even,
like
even almost like you're
thing.
speaking it out loud.
this is
Yeah.
it,
dude,
Yeah.
there's something to it. There's something to
for
it. I
sure.
swear.
Here's one thing I've always noticed about Chad is like even on his Instagram posts or like how he projects himself online or whether it be different podcasts, like he's
or
always
his OnlyFans page.
Yeah. He's always said like Coda Pro back when you were doing that.
Oh,
and you were so evident about it.
yeah.
You were
Yeah, I
convicted
did.
about
Yeah,
it.
dude.
You wrote about it and he was like Coda Pro. And dude, like it just seems like it just seems like that there's no doubt. Like there's no doubt. You've convinced me. You've
Oh,
convinced anyone else,
100%.
and I know you've convinced yourself. It's gonna happen.
trademark, dude.
Coda Pro.
Coda Pro.
Like,
Yeah.
like
That
when you
is
were saying
cool.
that, it was
I still
so
remember
cool.
that back
like
in
the
your
day.
your
Yeah.
early posts, back when
Yeah.
Instagram.
It was a
wasn't
brand. He
Coda
made it a
Pro.
brand.
Yeah.
He made
Yeah.
it his own
You-
thing.
You've been saying that
was
since
my,
day
like,
one and-
movement
Yeah.
that I tried to make. And actually, it's pretty funny that you brought that up, because Josh and I gotta give him some credit, because we both like kind of made that idea like a reality, and I started doing it. Like it was kind of one of those things like we talked about, and I'm like, okay, next post, like Coda Pro,
Yeah.
like Coda Pro, everything, all of it. Coda
Sure.
Pro's life now.
And,
Like, that's
and
it.
for all of you who don't know, who are listening, Josh Douglas, he's an extremely mediocre cribbage player, but he also fishes on the Bassmaster Elite Series.
For sure.
And he's kind of Chad Smith's sensei. Chad Smith calls him sensei.
He's the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Chad Smith.
and what I want to know
He's
is
sensei for sure.
I want to know how you got connected with Josh and how you guys kind of formed your bond, because you guys have an incredible bond.
He
Mentors.
just happened
Mentors.
to be on the last podcast too.
I think
Yeah.
it's interesting to see like somebody who has a mentor, like for somebody who doesn't.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Definitely great.
So like mentors, like I don't think a lot of people, when people say get a mentor, I don't think a lot of people understand what that entails, or like
Or
you know.
take that serious, because I've had people tell me too in the past, like, dude, you need to get a mentor, and I've heard that from multiple people, and it's like, dude, those words hold weight, and,
Yeah.
and
And-
people
or
have
know
done,
or know what to do with that opportunity when they
Yeah.
get it,
The
or
cool-
how to handle it right.
The cool thing was like I had like mutually known Josh, growing up around the Lake Minnetonka area. I mean, he lived actually like 2 blocks from my mom's apartment at the time, and so like I'd end up over there and just kind of or whatever. And I mean, when we first started traveling together, he'd just come pick me up at my mom's apartment. We'd hit the road for months, and the cool thing about like Josh's and I's relationship is I think we just got along pretty well, and then it like. I'd seek advice from him, or I'd just listen and I'd act on the things he told me, which I think opened him up more to like being like, he's actually listening to me.
Sure.
And a lot, like, I mean, really all of it's worked out. He's never strutted me wrong in any which way. So it's just been one of those things, like we've built that trust in each other, and I don't know. I don't even really know how to describe it. It just kind of all happened. And we spent so much time together. I think it just kind of naturally happened too, but he's been sensei for sure. I mean, he's done so much for me. I probably could never.
why did you open your career on the opens as a co-angler through Figgy when you had this relationship with Josh, or did you know
so that
Josh
happened
post
after
Figgy?
after the fact. So like I Figgy like kind of was like my initial in with everything, and that sounds almost like weird, but more so like that's kind of how it started. And then I was with Seth and Figgy, and Josh was around, a lot. I mean, they were all friends. And it, like, Figgy didn't continue fishing the opens one year. And so he was like, hey, like, dude, I don't know if I can do it again. I know you're planning on it, but, like, how would you feel about, linking up with Josh? And I'm like, actually, yeah, that sounds good. And so that's kind of where that started. But
Gotcha.
That's really cool. I didn't.
yeah,
How many years of co-angling did you do?
5.
Split it, and then you went right to
2019 was my first year as a boater. I had a guy that gave me the opportunity, got me a boat, and that was like a big hurdle for me at the time. But he got me into a boat, and he allowed me to fish the opens. He helped out with some financially and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool deal.
That's pretty cool.
What's the coolest trick you've learned from Josh Douglas? Like, what's fishing with Josh Douglas? Like, what's the coolest, like, little sneaky trick he maybe taught you that was kind of something that maybe helped you, on the co-angler side, whatever?
I mean, from the get-go, Josh had, like, instilled in me, he's like, there's fish everywhere, dude. Don't ever feel like you have an excuse with who you're in the boat with.
That's amazing
That's
advice.
really good.
It's
Yeah.
amazing advice.
He taught me there's fish everywhere, and I took that to heart, and I like started to really think like that.
That's a great
and,
quote.
Like, I was like, that's it. You're right, and I never had an excuse for it. I always was like confident every single cast. I'm like, and I throughout like that vibe, I had like these random bites that you never would have thought that you're like,
Just cast out here.
Sensei's right. And you're like, you are sensei.
But I feel like just potentially because of that advice, like I feel like you rose to the occasion. Like you would tell me stories, like there'd be dudes fishing docks and you'd do something different. Like maybe you tied on a drop shot and you're flipping drop shot at docks and you're getting backseated to the moon and you'd throw at that dock and you'd open your bail and you would close it.
Lake Norman was like my peak performance for that. So like all the guys, it was like post spawn, like fry garter stuff, and a lot of the guys are targeting largemouth that were sitting at the walkways of these docks. And so the docks, they were all like, most of them were like big wooded post docks, or wood posted, whatever. And
Way offshore.
so like the ends of the docks were anywhere from like, I don't know, 6 to 15 feet. And so I put on like a half-ounce drop shot weight, and these pros would just burn around these docks and just fish the walkways. And like, I don't like the term backboating, but like backboat me.
Yeah.
And so like, but then
Not give
I
you
also
a
didn't
chance.
want to like, yeah, but I didn't want to target what they were anyway. Like that's another thing Josh taught me. He's like, always give the pro credit that they're gonna catch what's in front of them. And so I was like, okay. Like strategically looking at it, I had to look at like, what can I do just polar opposite, or like not that they're targeting, being respectful, number one, number two, also just doing something different, and there's fish everywhere. So these pros would like make their cast, they'd like power pull down or like lock on and like, really fish it hard. And I'd be on the outsides, the back of the boats, just pitching to every single dock post. And then as they'd burn around, I had that heavy weight. So I'd switch rods because it depended on like the situation. But as we started moving, I'd grab another rod that had a heavier weight, and I'd pitch, and I'd like the weight would just fire down. I'd shake it a couple times. I'd reel up, pitch to another one, and like shake it, and just like do whatever. And I caught like most of my fish that way. And then like we'd veer off and cut across a creek that we were in like the back of, and we'd be like way over, and like I'd use the momentum of like the back boat swinging. I'd like run almost on the back deck stretch and like bomb a cast, and like got super accurate with like hitting these dock posts, letting my bail run out just so it'd be on the bottom, and I'd pick up, and then there was this pressure, and I'd be like, and I caught a bass like over a football field lengths away.
Damn.
Sick.
That day.
Long
Or, like,
line
day
and
3
You
or
just gotta
something.
get
It was just
creative.
crazy.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Yep.
like
outside the box.
the opportunities are always there. It's just like you don't know when they're coming.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. But it was just like, felt like a dang athlete. It was,
Yeah.
like
Well,
you're
you are
really
one.
working
And truly
for it.
fishing what's in front of you, fishing what's given. And I feel like there's so much. If you run a boat, or if you're in the front of the boat, you're always trying to put yourself in the best position. And when things aren't going your way, like your head spins this way, your head spins that way. You want to do this, you want to do that, and sometimes like settling back down, going with your gut and fishing what's in front of you. And as a co-angler, you're forced to do that.
Right.
And I feel like you learn major stuff doing that.
You have to learn quick on the fly too.
Yeah.
It's the fishing the moment. Like I talked to Brandon Polnick, and I know something he's working on himself is that like sixth sense of just like making decisions subconsciously, just out of instinct.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me a lot. Like I just learned that like I don't know, a year ago, and I'm like, that's a really interesting point. But he's got something to that, you know. Like when it's just like anything. The more you're doing something, the more you come in flow with it, and you're just kind of like,
It's all about decisions.
it is.
Well, it's like pro athletes with muscle memory.
Yeah,
Like,
same kind of concept.
It's the same thing with fishing with a gut, but also, well, I guess pro athletes have to make those mental, quick decisions too.
For
But
sure.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
It's just interesting.
I like that.
Like, yeah, I know, right? It's like I've become over the years like a really big mentality guy.
It's
It's
everything.
weird, but it
Yeah.
is.
What else is there?
Yeah.
If believe you can, you're halfway there, right?
Yeah.
That's just if you don't believe you can, don't even keep the boat on the trailer, bud.
For sure.
Like, or keep the rods in the truck, bud.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know? Whatever. But that next level, right?
Yeah.
Everyone who's fishing the Bassmaster Opens believes they can. But
Got
that
to.
next level,
Yeah.
what is that?
They know they can.
What is that next level? How do you hone in on that sixth sense? Do you meditate to Buddha? Do you do you do breathing exercises? Do you do cold therapy and jump in an ice bath every morning? Like
Morning
there's
yoga.
all this stuff coming out. Like
Yeah.
do you do hemp gummies?
No,
all day.
You know
Or,
what's
like,
interesting though? Yeah, right. Like it.
what's your
I-
thing, dude?
Dude, skateboarding taught me a lot into the fishing mentality. Actually.
Shredding,
Yeah, dude. No, like seriously, I really
Shredding, bro.
totally, bro. But no, like I relate skateboarding and fishing all the time because it's just like total failure. Like, dude, think about
I
like
didn't
trying
think
a
about
trick.
that.
Think about a trick that you're trying that you want to learn that you are
Gotta
trying
get
to
that
land,
trick down.
and you are
Except you don't have a
constantly
broken
failing, you're
fucking leg.
eating shit.
I bet
And-
confidence is a huge thing there, and just like
But
your
you
mental
gotta-
attitude,
you have
and you have
to.
to believe that you can land it.
Like skateboarders break too many legs before they go pro. That's the problem. It's
Yeah.
like skateboarding, you'll break shit
When you
trying to go
Fucking
pro.
themselves.
When you
Oh,
first said
dude,
it,
you're
crazy.
I
You're
didn't
like,
understand.
oh, break my spine. Every freaking trick you try, dude.
like
Those
losing
guys
a
are
tournament
nuts.
ain't that bad after you just broke your wrist on a kickflip back lip.
Bro, I ollied once.
It makes sense though. Like when you first said it, I was like, how? Like, but then I'm like, no,
It does.
No,
But
no,
it's
that
like you
does.
create like that.
does.
Just like you get up,
The
no matter
mental
what,
pain-
and you
the
keep
mental
trying.
aspect,
You just
for
keep
sure.
trying. Like you don't really give up until you land that trick. Same thing is with like
Figure out
tournament
that
aspect.
leg.
I just don't
You
think
figure
there's
it
the
out.
physical pain.
Oh,
of it
100%
with
probably
training.
not.
Like it's just
No,
mental.
yeah, it
maybe of
is,
it.
but it's like same kind of thing. You got to be there.
Yeah. Sticking to it though. Like,
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
to skateboard, right, JP?
I was a longboarder, bro.
Oh, what's okay? So
Brad.
talk to me. Is there gripe between like authentic skateboarders
Oh, yeah.
versus longboarders?
Oh yeah.
But you also say
We
like
got
you
beef
should have been born in
already.
Cali. Wasn't Cali like the birthplace?
I lived
of
in
the
Cali.
Longboard and
I lived in
longboard
Cali.
culture
Did you?
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Where?
San Diego.
Oh,
worry
sick.
about
San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Santiago.
Diago.
Just for a year.
Yeah, that's
but,
cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like the skateboarding longboard thing is just different because like, I mean, you can't kickflip a longboard.
I
You
take
can.
that back.
You can.
My freshman
but-
roommate at Duluth was a pro longboarder, and that dude did the freestyle and the
No,
downhill.
that's
and
fair.
that dude can shred.
Hey,
John
in
Hawkes?
Duluth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I in
John
Duluth.
Hawkes.
Duluth. Where,
Sector 9.
What?
Yeah, I.
man.
Hey, dude,
awesome.
hey.
No. Pause.
I was in those events in Duluth. I was in
With the sliding
longboard.
gloves?
Who
Yeah,
has a
dude.
roommate that's a pro longboarder in Duluth? Like does with
Dude,
with the
Aaron
snow
Teal did.
and literally
He played
2.5
bass guitar, too.
months of summer and the Great Lakes effects.
dude,
That's like
you're-
saying like, oh, I'm a professional hockey player and I just live in Mexico City, Mexico.
If you
You
saw,
think that's crazy? He got tattoos of bees on his knees.
that's how you know it's real.
You're a poet,
okay,
and you
I
didn't even
remember
know
that.
it.
I remember this.
No, he's the
dude.
bee's knees.
No.
Oh my gosh, I didn't really put that together.
Yeah.
Duluth is where longboarding is like the best place in Duluth.
Dude, scary as fuck. Those guys are crazy. What? Those hills? Me on a longboard?
Picture Jut, you're Yeah.
Oh, I watched it.
Yeah.
Do you have sliding gloves?
I we used to make them because we were so poor. We would like
Yeah.
super glue
Like dominoes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
onto
yeah.
like these
What?
just
Yeah, dude.
straight up like construction, like
hippiest
wood hooking.
Yep.
Yeah, like
And-
gloves.
yep.
That's the most hipster
That's
shit I've ever
incredible.
seen. Like, yeah, I got flying gloves, got some dominoes,
I,
super glued to my hand, bro.
I did-
Give me that Gorilla Glue blow.
I actually did one event on Duluth Griggs
Really?
Beach. There's a longboarding event.
Oh my god!
I swear to God.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
You freaking longboarders.
Yeah, but it was like more tricks and like weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say kick flipping, but
no,
you know,
I'm just more so giving credit.
Throwing it
but
up.
Okay,
yeah.
so
What's
just
the one where you ride on two wheels like for a long time?
we manual.
I thought it'd sound cooler than that when I like to ask.
So
but-
say there's a beautiful woman that just walks in the room, and you both select her to be
The one.
the one.
the Great White Buffalo.
What is one thing you would say to her to I guess like turn her against a longboarder versus a traditional? And then what is one thing that you would say to her just to be like, no.
does size matter?
Oh, okay. That was wow, that was quick. What
Dang,
would you-
that was good. I don't know how much I can deal. Like,
Okay.
he
He just said that. Now she walks up to you and says, "Hello, Chatfield."
Chadwick.
I can flip it around and shit.
man.
And you're like, "It's about fishing."
It's not about size. It's how you wiggle the worm.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least I don't got gloves on.
That's unreal. Oh, got me.
It's okay. We're back.
That might be a good time. I gotta take a piss like a motherfucker.
Dude,
do
I'm
too.
kind
I
of
do
there.
too.
Yeah,
I do
let's
too.
go. Yeah,
Piss
break.
break.
There's been renditions.
Put 'em on
I don't
blast.
Yeah,
even know.
we're gonna play the original. Yes.
Clip it.
Loop the beat.
Yeah,
We're just
you're gonna
putting
have
it
to
up
clip
to the
this
mic.
one.
Loop the beat.
I gotta find it.
That's the one that you overlaid over your
Yeah.
hog that you caught. Looked like down in Florida.
Sam,
Yeah. So, okay. Prelim to this.
you're the
Sobi.
Jamie Foxx of bass fishing. I just want you to know that.
So Sobi
Sam
sent me
Sobi,
a
Jamie Foxx of
a
bass fishing.
Snapchat like voice recording, and it was this freestyle, and I dropped a beat on it, and put it over me catching a 10-pounder in Florida.
You could dub the video in right here.
Yeah, we can probably figure out how to do that.
Cole.
I gotta find it though.
I got you.
But yeah, the beat makes it way harder.
Yeah, yeah. Want the street version.
About the underground street version.
Want the street version. Metro booming.
Loop the beat.
Yo, freestyle Monday, yo. Here we go. Yo. Two bass I pop till my pupils pop out like 2 pennies. I'm Chad Smith in his mid-20s. A bassin man with 2 jigs in hand as he rolls around Florida like an island boy man. Yeah, he's bad to the bone and he beats bass. Yeah, he gets some hot chicks. Yeah, he slaps ass. He's got some beautiful hair, but I like his mouth more.
Whoa.
Wish I was down in Florida. I'd be his little whore.
Whoa! Cut! Whoa! Cut!
Oh man,
Damn.
there's. I mean,
That was hot.
like.
Do back.
Oh, Chad drops bars back like all the time, and they're incredible. If you find yourself underground, like here's surface level of the earth. If you find yourself underground, you will find Chad Smith beats in there.
Quick
Yeah.
draw response, raw.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Turn the 808s up and
yeah.
let her bop.
We go by our area code district. I got
Sick.
you.
612.
It's all about repping your town, just like bass fishing.
For sure.
So
Do you-
is battle rap.
So, like, you're from New Prague, so it's more like
It's-
some German techno, like.
Oh, that's 952, son.
German techno.
Grab net.
It's a Czech town, New Prague.
I'm
Check.
from New Prague.
Check.
Sit hook.
Oh, you think you know me? Man,
Say
you
it
don't
too.
even know how to spell Kalachki.
You like the German techno in New Prague. New Prague.
Yeah,
New
it's,
Prague.
New Prague.
New Prague.
I don't like to talk about my achievements or anything like that.
New Prague.
As you.
New Prague.
New Prague. New Prague.
New
New
Prague.
Prague. New Prague.
We cook schnitzel. New Prague.
No, New Prague is rich in culture. with the Czech folk, Czechoslovakian folk.
Oh, the Czechs are good
And-
people.
And every year there's something called a Dozinki Days.
Oh.
I'm sure you've potentially been invited.
I've
Maybe
heard about
by
it.
Bart or whoever. It's just JP used to date a woman from the area, and he was
yeah.
just
New Prague?
a Czech gal, really.
Yeah.
With the
New
last
Prague?
name Rizak.
Yep.
Yeah, she was probably
New
a Czech
Prague?
gal, and it's really incredible. It's like
Dozinki Days is
It's
sweet.
Walk me through
the deal.
Dozinki. What's
I actually met Bart there.
I don't think
really.
I've ever heard
Did you
Yeah.
meet Bart before you?
He
like,
said-
met
I-
Bart?
Schnitzel on a
Yes.
stick?
I had a Voselka hat on,
stick?
and he stuck me out of a crowd. He's like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I know you. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh, 7 foot tall Bart is standing downtown Main
Seven
Street.
to- what? Wait, what? What did you just say?
He's a tall dude.
No.
No,
dude, you-
all right.
6'2"?
No, you're just short, dude.
Yeah, you're
Like,
just short.
no,
I'm like 6 foot.
Don't give him any credit.
Okay.
He is kind of tall, but
So Bart is standing downtown Dozinki Days, and he just eyes you up from across.
Yeah, I had a Voselka
The city
hat or
club.
shirt or something on, and he's like, and I was like, oh, what? And
Did we just become best friends? That kind of stuff.
New Prague.
New
Prague, yeah.
New Prague. It is crazy there. No. It's
New Prague is
Das Boot? Oh,
Isn't,
Das
isn't
Boot?
Brock? Brock's from there, isn't he?
yeah. We went to high school together.
I got
wow.
college buddies from New Prague. Beck's
Oh, yeah.
from New Prague.
We got a handful of them down
Yeah.
there. Jonesy?
Jonesy's
Jonesy,
from New Prague.
really?
Jonesy
Jonesy's
Mulch
my
Club?
boy. Shout out Jones
Brent?
Mulch Service. Brent Jones.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Best
the Brent
mulcher
Jones when
north
you were
of Mason
Jones.
Dixon.
No way.
This is where's the
Yeah. Where'd my koozie go?
shit?
That's incredible.
Dude, we lost
I
the
just
Jones
fucking
Mulch
had
Service koozie, but dude, straight up best mulcher north of the Mason Dixon. I'm not even kidding you right now, dude.
That's crazy. I think Brent Jones. Where does he get his merchandise done? Right downtown Montgomery. That's a town over. That's incredible. I went to high school with Brent Jones.
We went to college with them.
Yeah, we went to college with
crazy.
Jonesy.
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah,
know
some wild
Jonesy
times.
well, dude. Like Jonesy helped me get the podcast started, like because
way.
Jonesy had the Music Burrito, which is a podcast,
I mean-
and I was like, dude, what did you like all use? And like he helped me out, and you know, I'm working on some mulch, but like in all honesty, he uses the best mulching technique.
Yeah.
North of the Mason Dixon, and I'm not kidding you.
And he's
Like,
not even
his
a sponsor of
mulching
the show.
technique
This
is
is-
second to none.
Wow.
It's the best mulching job I've ever seen. Like, you need to experience it for yourself. Call Jones Mulch Service today.
And it's not a toss. It's more of a drizzle as he pours on the mulch.
Absolutely.
You should check out their
Absolutely.
social
Like
media
sprinkling
account too.
sprinkles on a donut.
Yeah.
Their social
Yeah.
media account. Their social media account is pretty funny too. So,
Really?
yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
They have fun with it. Let's just put it that way.
A lot of people will do mulch, but nobody does mulch
Yeah.
like Jones Mulch Service.
Hey,
Damn.
I know who I'm calling. If I ever get in that
And way to
position.
open up our second half of the podcast. Welcome to the
second
galaxy.
half. Welcome to the second half of the
to the galaxy.
galaxy.
I feel like-
Jonesy, this
should we-
is to you and New Prague.
Happy days. Happy days.
All right.
Do you guys think zero gravity is kind of like elevation, where like probably feel the drinks a little more?
Maybe. Yeah. I think
Space
so.
is just a lot of space.
Gravity's weird, man.
Space is just like
Gravity
one
is
big,
weird.
wide open
It
area.
is. Like the fact that like sitting is difficult in like if outside of Earth, you know, like sitting is hard. Like right now, sitting is easy.
Dude,
But like
gravity's so
in
bogus.
space, you have to like pull yourself into the chair. Like wow,
What is
you have to
time?
like try to sit. It's interesting, and I've never been there, but I gotta imagine it's difficult.
But if you had the opportunity, you
Yeah,
have
would you
to
guys go to
podcast there.
space?
Fuck yeah.
Like, would
Dude,
you,
I don't
like,
know,
for
man.
Sure? I don't know if I would. I'd be terrified.
I just
yeah,
wanna, I just want to get up on like orbit and just like
I'd love, like, if I did it, like, it'd be cool, like, for sure.
Maybe-
But I'd be so scared,
Dude.
of how I would get back.
Dude,
I
how do
think
those
getting there would
rockets
be like
land?
the less worry.
How do they
It'd be
land?
getting back.
I'll
I
let him.
want to know how that rocket that goes
Yeah.
like. Yeah, it has to land still.
Dude, like, fireproof
it still has
states
to
aren't
land.
all
I've
that
never seen 'em
fireproof.
land.
Yeah, that doesn't seem real.
Like,
Dude,
oh,
get-
and then it just
hey,
hovers
hey,
in
hey,
like a plane. Like,
Dude,
why can't
yeah.
it take? Like,
Just let
don't know.
Elon.
I don't know, man.
Just let
I don't know.
Elon.
That's
take
some
care of
Hollywood
it.
bullshit, man. We didn't go on the moon. You guys
Elon's
think?
got us.
Anyway, dude, like Elon's like, yeah, I want to go to Mars. I don't know. Unless
Hey.
there's bass on Mars,
Dude,
I ain't
going
going.
to Mars.
dude.
No way.
if Elon was a bass bait, which bass bait would he be?
Ooh.
The dice with hair.
Oh, yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Elastec, so it never breaks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know,
That's
I
just
think you
my
nailed
first,
that.
I don't know.
It's like, y'all roll the dice, but it's always going to land on 6.
Bingo. Yeah. I wasted it.
Oh man. So let's. Okay, I'd like to do this. I do this in my YouTube videos sometimes. I'd like to go around the table and just because today felt like the first nice day of spring,
Yep.
and I feel like
It did. It did.
From here on out, it's just like spring and summer. From here on out, feels like open water. Give me your hopes, fears, and dreams going into this year's open water season. I'd like to start with JP.
My hopes.
Fears was the last one?
Yeah, hopes, fears, and dreams.
Hopes, fears, dreams. Okay.
Dude, why are you putting me on the spot?
You were the farthest to the right.
My hopes are that I get to meet a lot of new people in the industry and just learn a lot of new techniques. My hopes, dreams. My dreams are to catch a 6 on both sides of the brown and green scale.
Ooh, yes.
Ugh.
That's kind of a basic dream or whatever, but that's a good one in Minnesota.
great one.
I've never caught a 6-pound smallmouth.
Really?
It's a great one.
Um,
And then fears.
talk to me in fall.
Right.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
Thomas,
what's the last one? Hopes, fears. Oh,
Beach
fear. A fear. A fear that a fear that I don't.
What are you
I
scared
honestly
of,
don't have any fears.
You're going to start
No,
liking
no,
whiskey?
No fears.
He ain't scared of shit.
I'm not scared of shit, dude. Bring it on, bro.
All right, Telio, hopes, fears, and dreams going into this Midwest open water season.
I hope to be better this year than I was last year. I dream to kick your sweet ass on that Champions Tour. And I fear that Sobi's going to take some people's money this year. So is Chad. So is Willard. And things are getting a little bit scarier just in general, in my opinion.
For sure.
Well, I hope you guys know I'm coming for your money in Champions Tour.
Come get it.
And I dream that I'll be registering for the Opens this fall.
Nice.
And I fear that I won't be invited back onto Bass Galaxy after this run.
Wow.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm not that worried about that.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't worry
I'm
about
more
that.
so just like,
I'd be worried if I was you.
yeah.
Dude, speed.
Those are good. Those are good.
Scared. I'm just wondering if you two talked about skipping him. Like,
I was about to say something, but
Yeah.
you're the host, so
no, Sobi's hosting now.
yeah. Usually, that's how it
Welcome to
goes.
my show.
What are your hopes, dreams, and
Yeah,
fears,
Sobi.
Oh.
Samuel?
Well, I prepare nothing but
Sam.
myself. But questions. Okay. Hopes. I hope to come out of the Champions Tour a much more diverse and adjusting angler. I just want to make adjustments. I feel like that's what the name of the game is, and that's the goal I want to take away from it is adjustments. Fears. I fear Noah Schultz beats me in even one of the tournaments. I'm here. I'm serious. I'm here to beat him every single tournament. So if I get first and he gets second, congratulations to you. But that would be just under my fear. If I get second and he gets first, I'll be pissed. And then dreams.
Just firing shots.
That's what I'm out for blood this year, boys. And
Stone Cold Sand
Yeah.
Sobi over here.
and dreams.
Wait, no, we already. I thought you already dreamed of beating Noah.
No,
Like, I thought we were
no,
the
it's not in
fears.
my dreams. Are you kidding me? That's just like that's called a Tuesday if he shows up.
Ooh.
My dreams is I'd like to ride shotgun in Chad Smith's beautiful Chevy truck, and roll out the window and just dice some of our competitors with this squirt gun. Fully torqued. I'm talking. If this thing normally takes 3 pumps, I want 20, and I want to say, hey, and then one of the fellow competitors, like let's just say, Willard, says, "Hey," and I go, "Hello." Boom, and just
What do you have in your hand right now?
I'd like Chad to
Like,
field this
the people
question.
watching video know, but like no one else.
This is an Adventure Force Super Soaker.
What the fuck did you guys bring a super soaker for?
You guys don't know the trick?
Welcome
What
to
the
the show.
fuck are you talking about?
So
This is a good one though, folks. Get
Yeah.
your pen and pencil out.
yeah, don't write it down.
What?
But no, so
Packing that heat, packing that cheddar.
oh yeah, we're always strapped here at the Bass Galaxy. Don't roll up on us. You'll have another thing coming. You might be cleaner than a whistle by the time you walk out because I got Dawn dish soap in this mug.
We're an intergalactic force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a little trick I learned from some higher ups.
Little trick my dad taught me.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I hope I don't get in trouble for it, honestly. But it's more so like so.
Is it registered?
Yeah, this is registered. This is under my name.
Serial number on it?
And you have a name for it. You said you call it the Newman.
Oh my God. Getting this man DQ'd first derby. Sobi plays for keeps.
Dang!
I play for keeps.
I have every right to remain silent. But no, anyway.
Paul Newman, he's got a gun. He has a gun. We've got fishermen with a gun
But no.
in the boat.
For real.
Is that legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legal. But
Such a genuine answer. No, it's
Is that a
legal.
pump?
yeah, a little pump fake. No. But no, seriously, if you Dawn dish soap and water, if there's like a slight ripple on the water when you're like bed fishing or anything like that, back in a creek that's like pollen taking over, just pollen floating all over the surface. It's hard to see when like cotton time a year up here. You spray it, and the Dawn dish soap like disperses it and just makes it glass like clear as day.
Are you kidding me?
So
Yeah,
you're
it disperses
talking.
all the pollen, disperses like water ripples.
So you're talking that weird stuff when you can't see, like you're trying to see into the water. You're trying to look for beds.
Yeah,
You're
it's
trying to look
unreal.
for those types of things. There's that sediment on top of the water that's
Yep.
preventing you from seeing.
Yep, you don't know
bed.
exactly, and you go spray it. You go
And-
spray like a 10-foot like.
Most people drive to the bait store. Chad Smith drives to Toys R Us, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
yeah, my nieces were like using that deal last summer for a while.
Is that Super Soaker brand? That's
Yeah. Super Soaker's the way to go.
Yeah, is it knockoff or is it legit?
okay. Yeah,
But
is that
there's also-
knockoff?
No, dude.
It's the real shit. It's the real shit. It's a Rolly.
I'm pretty sure Austin.
My Rolly don't TikTok.
I'm pretty sure Austin Felix was the first one to bring that onto Bass Live.
I saw that on Bass Live.
I want to say a year ago.
I believe that.
I can't remember where, when, and why, but he was fishing up shallow. He had like a week, like a.
Who
like
just won the last? Who just won the last elite?
Cobb?
No, Palmer.
Luke Palmer. So he has it, or no, maybe it wasn't even him, but one of the guys in like the top 10 Bates photos has one of those. It's what they used it for. I used to detail cars.
You know
all
what
the
I'm talking
time,
about.
And they used to like put like acid wash in it. And
Yeah.
it's just like one of those spray cans, but it's got like a little like nozzle thing that you can like press and it'll just squirt it out.
I
But,
specifically remember.
Felix only
And so
had like
people do
a
the
like a
same
Windex
thing.
bottle.
No, he
looking
had
shit.
like a bot. Like it was like a.
I mean that, yeah. You need like
You
some
know,
kind of
He
like
didn't
a
have like the
good-
double barrel Daryl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like
no,
I don't
like I don't know how to explain it, but he had like a little like it's like a wand, wasn't it? Like a little bucket
like
with a wand.
It's like a hose coming out of this deal, and you like
Yep.
it's got a handle on it, but like people used it
and
like
you pump it. You pump the
Yep,
top of
yep.
it. Yep.
Like
And that creates
Roundup,
the
like,
pressure.
So-
like you
It's
spray
Yep.
weeds with. Like,
Yep.
that's
but
like
no
the way
trigger?
to do it, but I just feel more badass
That's
when I've got a super
well,
stick.
you could fucking point them out.
Yeah, dude.
Point
That is
'em
way
out,
more-
point
Dude,
'em
I
out.
got
gangster
way
move.
more reach than
That's
those guys.
gangster. like,
I guess
yeah,
if that's
rolling in
20
with
feet away
his-
instead of 10, dude.
That's cool though.
That's incredible.
That's
like
and to be
packing
honest,
heat.
when I first saw it, I thought it was for cleaning off like the shit on the side of your boat. Like I
Oh yeah.
wanna bend
No, I
down
mean
there
that makes
and
sense. Yeah,
Give
but
her
no.
one of them.
Well, you said it's like scum lines on the boat, which is like so it's a
I mean,
two-part
you can-
dart.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a two-part
totally.
dart.
Yeah,
like,
I guess I haven't even thought that
that's a
far,
two-part
so that's
dart.
Good,
Like-
that's a good call. I might do that.
you got Dawn dish soap. Like
I don't need
you
a hose
frickin'
anymore.
Spray that on that scum line
Dude,
after you.
I got a
fish
hose
grease
on the
hole.
road when I'm sleeping out of my truck camping now.
Dude, you need to do a video after Big Stone wiping like spraying on that blue algae. I bet that super soaker don't do
Can
shit,
I sub
bro.
Sobi for a
That
freaking
blue
quick
algae
little
is
Instagram reel
gross.
for my super soaker and just lighten my boat up?
Just
We can put bullet holes in
put
it if you want.
putting a cap in that boat. Putting a cap in that.
I'm excited.
Popping a cap.
I'm excited for the shenanigans that are going to happen later this summer with stuff like that and other things. I just feel like
You got to come fish out here.
I have to.
Dude, unless they died. Did you see enough?
I saw enough to.
You saw fishing?
I saw
fish moving?
I saw fish.
Oh!
And more importantly, I didn't see any floaters.
When you were out there?
Yeah.
Talk to him. Talk to him about-
radioactive, insane
Let me-
genetics
yeah,
out
let's,
here.
Let's ask about them, like on their thoughts on like kill lakes and all that. That's an
you guys
interesting
ever deal
topic.
with that? Because you were like, well, you see floating dead ones?
So-
I'm like,
so
well,
you-
no,
I don't know
maybe
if
they
I'm a good
sink.
person
But-
to ask about that.
well,
I don't
I'm
know a
not.
whole lot.
But
Yeah.
you said that you were watching the oxygen levels here on this
Well,
lake, and they 14 to.
One of my mentors,
know
who's
that?
also my neighbor, who
Yeah.
I used to fish with, Nick Gross,
Yeah.
sent me the DNR report of the county. And this lake was on it, and there was a survey from January, February, March. In January, it was 11 point something. February, it was 7 point something. March, it was 0.7 something. So it's like
I'll tell you two things on this.
no oxygen. But they only survey, how many spots do they survey?
Word of mouth usually kills lakes. That's what kills lakes. Lakes do
It
die.
killed.
I feel like I'm not a biologist, not a scientist, but usually it's only a partial kill. So I wouldn't fear anything. Also, bass are
The
extremely
strong
hardy.
ones survive.
Yes, and also, good buddy Adam Griffith.
Yep.
Griff, he's a bass wizard. He's a multi-species angler, incredible bass fisherman. The lakes he catches the biggest bass out of are usually winter kill lakes, and that's just because there's a huge separation in your class, and those big ones that made it get really, really big. And the other ones grow really fast to reach maturity, and it's just winter kill lakes in general have produced extremely big bass and kind of just reformed genetics of lakes to make them good again. And like different lakes are cyclical and things happen and winter kills happen, but around the South Metro, like where I'm at, that's a big deal. If you know a lake winter killed out like 5-6 years ago, go bass fishing on that lake.
That's what happened
Go.
to this lake.
Yeah, well,
I remember,
tip, dude.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's like a dirty juice secret. Like if you have inkling that a lake partially winter killed, go.
So you're saying that I gotta wait 5 years?
No, absolutely not. Because there's lakes around us that have winter killed, and then I went out there bassing like even the year or two after, and there's like just nuke freaks out there. It's almost like low density bass fishing, where guys that are super into muskie fishing that fish those low density muskie lakes up in Minocqua area, like a Cody Hahn or something like that.
Yeah, or Matt Thompson way back in his day.
Exactly. It can be the same type of thing except for bass. And that's why don't be sad, don't be mad, don't be glad. Just see what happens and give it the time of day.
All right, keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's good advice, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
Like,
I almost want to cut that.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
That's some secret.
Greasy.
That's some grease.
greasy knowledge.
That's some grease.
yeah, dude. Like, don't do
But
that.
it's
again.
usually usually always a don't you point that gun at me.
This was a test. You failed.
Giving away too much.
We'll kill you, no?
No, but let the viewers know, when I first came on here for the pilot, we were in your parents' house and you were getting everything dialed up, and then Cole over here, he was really putting his best foot forward to try to make this all happen the first night. And now talk to me about your setup now.
Yeah.
Because this is an extremely dialed operation. And then just rolling up here, like, talk to him about the Bass Galaxy HQ, because this place is a slice of heaven, Aaron. It seriously is.
Yeah. It feels like heaven. And honestly, Cole has done everything
Lil
to
K
put
Moss?
this together. Yeah, Lil C Moss.
Camus Kid.
the
Get it
Camus
right,
Kid.
guys.
Little
Yeah.
K Moss.
Now, Cole likes to fly under the radar behind the scenes, but he's super organized. He's the yin to my yang, like with the podcast stuff. So to be honest with you, like that's really what's helped us get here, right here today. And I'm lucky, I guess, to have found like a sweet house that fits like me and who I am. So
Talk to him about the house.
It's a match
like,
made in heaven.
for anybody
like,
living
to be
on
honest.
anybody not living, anybody listening on Spotify, tell them about your house. Tell them about, the Bass Galaxy HQ.
Well, you drive down an old country road down next to a lake, that's out in the middle of Egypt, and you see a bass mailbox on your left and a big garage on your left beyond that, and then a little 1.5 bedroom cabin beyond that. And the garage is bigger than the cabin, but it sits on a pretty sweet lake spot, and it's what dreams are made of. And shopping for a house is super stressful, but it all works out in the end. The universe finds a way to work itself out, I think, and you just have to be willing to accept that, and good things happen. And
tell them how
here we are. Dude.
Tell them how you knew. There was a point when you knew this is where you're gonna live.
For sure. I toured the place next to it.
Okay.
Right here, the neighbor's spot, and I liked it. And when we were touring it, we walked out, and there was this lady who walked out of this place out to her mailbox, and we're like, hey, how's it going? We started BSing with her, and she's like, yeah, this house is, oh, you're looking at this place, awesome. We're actually putting our place up for sale within the next month or two.
And you're like, don't.
And we're like, and I was looking
Dibs.
at that garage, and that place was sick. It had a 24 by 24 non-heated, non-insulated garage, but it had electric with lights and everything, and it was better than I had been looking at for 3-4 months. And this place, I was like, oh, cool. I was like, oh, wow, that's weird. And she's like, yeah, you want to look inside? We're like, oh, no, we shouldn't. We didn't want to intrude. And she gave us a tour and looked at this garage, and it was like,
it's destiny.
Yeah. It's like when you look at your first 6-pound bass, and oh my God, this is what dreams are made of. My boat fits right.
Where are you gonna put the boat right here, or are you gonna keep the old ping pong table?
So Dane's talking about making a
boy.
studio bar top, an L thing with wheels on it.
Oh, cool.
So the plan would be to put the boat here, but then when we do the podcast, just roll the boat out and move the bar top, or just put the bar top right there with the boat here.
I
and
think
just spruce the rest of the place up.
that's a
little bit.
phenomenal idea. And tell them about
Dane's a good dude.
what solidified the whole deal. When you were closing, you went down to the dock.
Yeah. So Aaron Dagus helped me with my mortgage. He also helps us out with the podcast.
Cool.
So if you guys are interested in a mortgage, Aaron Dagus is a great spot. But my move-in day, we closed on the house. Is it's always stressful closing on your first house. I'm still a newbie. I'm learning. I go down to the dock, and my 5th cast, I catch a 3 3/4. On a Senko.
Come on
them cattails.
That's nuts.
In
Come
the canal. And it's
Honey, I'm
Sweet.
home.
Lord baby Jesus, I'm in heaven.
just south of Memphis.
Oh my God.
That's actually
Just
so
north
cool.
of Memphis, baby.
Dude, it's you seriously have a little dream.
You
pad
gotta
here,
come
dude.
out
This
to
is
this lake
slice
and
of
It's a
heaven.
little slice of heaven,
Dude, I
dude.
want to
really-
fish out here.
Dude,
bad.
you can whatever you want.
If they're not all dead,
Heck
dude,
yeah.
yeah.
4th
then
of
it's
July,
really
if you're
find
not
the
doing
living
anything.
ones.
Our
Oh,
arms were
man.
tired. We stopped. We had I've never got off the lake because I was
That's all
sore.
I need
Could
to
you
hear.
potentially spot lock and catch these bass on the rock piles seated?
Yes.
I was swimming.
You could.
Hey,
Yes,
Sylvie,
Jonesy
I was
with.
I was
Crankbait,
swimming.
football jig,
You
Yeah.
hitting
worm,
it some,
whatever the hell
Sobi?
you want.
So in your beautiful VX20 that you'll have soon, would you potentially run a podcast out of that boat on the water, an on the water podcast? Would you ever consider it?
We'd have to ask the Camus kid.
Little K Moss.
Is that possible? The big thing is battery power with everything. We could do it.
Yes.
We can figure it out.
You boys want to soak jigworms? Do a podcast?
I don't think he even hesitated.
I've got a
Let's do
giant.
that.
I have a lily
battery
pad.
to plug into it.
Dude, I have a lily pad.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do?
Yeah.
I feel like that's an electrical thing. Don't lily pads get wet?
No, it's for.
I want to do an on the water
Oh, for the
podcast on your
guy.
lake.
Dude, that's some Howard Stern shit. I like it.
My guy.
Get some ladies Well, not like
Throw her on cruise
You guys want to
control.
hop on our lily pod?
Chad. You got a girlfriend? Chad, do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Okay,
Far
like
from
minus Sobi
Yeah,
and Steph.
let's
Like,
go.
yeah, it's,
yeah.
JP and Chad can have the lily pad out back. you
Oh
know.
yeah, we'll hold down the fort.
Someone
Soaking
has
some
to
ladies.
facilitate this on the mic, and I'd be that man. I would select myself.
We got wireless.
Sure.
We got wireless.
We'll make it work.
Waterproof wireless.
No, but this is an incredible
Island
setup,
podcast
dude.
party on a boat.
I can do that.
A 4th of July party on the pod, dude. Yeah.
Out in Egypt.
I'll help you out. I'll figure it.
Little
We'll,
more
figure,
for
we'll
the
figure it
pod.
out.
Well, all right, all right.
Cole's a
Lily
smart
pod.
dude. He'll figure it out.
Cole, God bless your soul.
Dude, but yeah, dude.
Yes.
But back to your spot. I really like what you do with the place. I haven't been inside.
Too
but-
legit to quit, dude.
Have you guys been inside?
Just a quick walk
we,
through.
we
Yeah.
like briefly. Yeah.
Pretty bassy, huh?
It is, dude. Like there's hair jig things tied there. I'm not speaking any more words about what he has in here for tackle or things he has tied up, but it's disturbing, it's disgusting, it's beautiful, and they're catchers. And if there was someone I'd like to rob in the near future, it'd be this garage. It'd be you.
Well,
I agree.
I would rob the shit out of you, Aaron.
well, I just want you to know that thing's Chad pointed at you.
I got you, bro.
I got
Aaron comes to protection.
I got one a little bit bigger in the house.
Yeah, but
We call it the home protector.
yours doesn't have Dawn in it.
This is true. Dawn in the eyes. It's like pepper spray. It's like mace. It's like a chick with mace in her purse. Like, oh fuck, can't
Teal.
even breathe. I love it. Yes, Justin.
I just said you left Don up at Battle of the Lakes. All right.
Donna. No, I want to hear some Hayes Baldwin shit. You've been
No, no,
rolling
no,
with
no.
Hayes Baldwin, and
I
that
have-
dude's a
oh.
legend. So
Hayes
I
is
want
a
to
legend.
hear. I want to hear some Hayes Baldwin stories. You alluded to one about like some Yelp review or something on
Strippers?
like strippers on something like that. I mean,
This podcast will be the end of me. Let it be known here first that if I fall off the face of the planet, it's because I was canceled via
Hashtag
the
cancel
vast
Sobi.
galaxy.
Facts.
Okay. Okay.
hashtag you can't censor the truth.
Okay. Well,
As long as they're age, it's fine.
Yeah, were they
Is
over
there-
18? We're good.
is there age restriction on this podcast potentially?
Yeah, dude,
18
we
plus.
say it's not for kids.
Okay,
right
cool.
away.
It's not for
right
kids.
away. I mean,
Okay.
you got a White Claw in your hand.
I'll first off say that the best part of fishing trips, no doubt, and all of you have been on fishing trips, whether it's traveling for a tournament or traveling for a fun trip or traveling down to Hartwell or traveling anywhere, traveling down to the Classic, the best part of fishing trips or anything about it is honestly what happens off the water. And whether that be the banter or the shenanigans or the dock talk or anything else in between, the best part of fishing trips happen in between the fishing. The fishing is just cherry on top. And,
true.
And everything else, all the lifelong memories happen in between that point. And I've been extremely blessed over the course of I don't know how many years to just make so many memories. So many memories with so many greasy anglers. And Aaron is referring to a time that I spent with my good pal, Hayes Baldwin, as we embarked on a trip to Wisconsin and just, God bless Wisconsin and all its fruits, I'm going to lead off with that. And, yeah.
Oh, it's cheese. No, Hayes is a savage, and I love it.
Dude,
I've
love
never
Hayes.
met
He's
Hayes.
good stuff.
He's an OG. He's a fisherman. Just stone
He's-
cold.
yeah.
He's a stone cold fisherman.
Yeah. Just
Stone cold.
And he's
Multi-species.
He's done everything from fish walleye league on
He's
Gull,
just fucking
fish bass league on Gull.
Axe
He
fish.
can
Just catches.
He's a catcher, dude. Like he could catch crappies, he could catch bluegills, he could catch walleyes, he
like a
can catch
PJ.
bass.
He's like a
well,
PJ.
dude. Every time I open my Snapchat or Instagram, it's you clowns out on it's Minnetonka bait and tackle. You guys ripping.
the
Cry.
meat hook.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so legendary. Why is that a bait and tackle? Which I
Yeah.
was just Chad is going to embark on a little crappie mission here soon on Lake Minnetonka, and he's a bass guy, so he needs to acquire some bobbers and some cubby mini mites
100p.
or any small plastics. And Wyzetta
Or
bait
a
and
fucking
tackle.
jigworm like a man.
right. Crappies eat the damn jigworm. and
Oh,
big
they do.
bluegills.
Big crappies.
But this Wyzetta bait and tackle place has this old school meat hook, dude, and Hayes and I are obsessed with it.
It's every day, I feel like.
They have Wyzetta bait and tackle just wood burned into this giant meat hook, and we just we select our best 10 crops and proceed to give them the knife. And then hook them up on the meat hook, dude, and just get these old school pictures of us holding just beautiful crops
Some
on the meat hook.
1978
Isn't it like-
crappie bullshit. I love it.
$4.94 honking in your back, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's right down.
Right
Like
on-
it's right straight up 5 minutes from Tonka, right in the city. As we're just stringing up these crops, and there's single moms driving home in Priuses giving us the honk, and just Hayes gives them the wave. Yeah.
Priuses?
Okay.
Single moms and Priuses.
So
Hell yeah. Weren't Tonka? I feel like that.
Minnetonka bait
Where-
and tackle. That's where these.
Yeah,
that
I feel
a
like
bait
I
and
feel like them single moms is driving more like Mercedes.
they probably are. They're driving like
BMWs.
low level BMWs,
BMW.
and that's just their daily driver.
Yeah.
But the
That
cool
young
thing about
Lexus.
Hayes or some of the other just fish bums I roll around with is like, if bass fishing is my whole world, fishing other species is like my passion or my fun. Where other people might have sports or golf or anything like that, like I find so much peace and
I like
fun in crappie fishing or walleye fishing or even bluegill fishing, whether that be through the ice or open water. Like these other grease bums that I hang out with, they're it's true, they're just fish bums, they're fishing guides, they're just extremely dialed anglers, whether that be locally or throughout the Midwest, and they've taught me so much about multi-species angling, and it's been an eye-opener, and it's helped me with bass fishing. But it's just been a ton of fun. It's almost like deer hunting, like anybody who casually deer hunts. Like I'm a deer hunter, but I'm not like a deer hunter. Like
Yeah, you are. You make videos.
I
and all
do,
that
I
shit.
do, but like
You know,
when I'm
douse
sitting in
and
the stand, it's
sunblocker.
peaceful, it's fun, it's almost relaxing. Same thing with crappie fishing or walleye fishing, and that's why hanging out with some of those grease bumps has just been an absolute pleasure. And this kind of parlays into the next thing is
Yeehaw.
I've been on some trips with Hayes, and Hayes has proceeded to teach me about the whole world of walleye and everything like that. And a hot spot
Different world.
across the Midwest is Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lake Michigan. It's incredibly dialed for not only smallmouth but giant walleyes and everything else in between. And one year we decided just to bum it and roll out there and take on the walleye game, which we just did this spring. But this story comes from last spring, so maybe almost a year ago to the day. So we dive into O'Connell, Wisconsin. It's just a very small town in kind of the Green Bay area, and we're doing some walleye action, and we're every day you're allowed your one, so we're killing our one walleye every day,
Of course.
and bringing it back to the small shanty of a motel that we're staying at. And one day, as we're sitting enjoying a few beverages post walleye smashing, we get on the Google machine and we go, there's a 3.5-star review at a place called North Point Exotic Dance Club, which lies just a few miles outside of O'Connell, Wisconsin. I'm just going to pull up North Point Exotic Dance Club's reviews on Google.
Somebody's daughter out there.
This was just, here we go.
I'm making him uncomfortable now.
I'm not telling a story. I'm just going to read what's on the Google reviews. And these are not my words. This is from Google. And remember, kids, what you
Such
read
a
on the
pansy.
internet isn't always true.
For all we know,
Such
it
a
could be
pain.
Chat GP
You're stronger than
LMNOP or whatever.
Are you ready?
that. LMNOP.
It says, one review. Wait till Chad's on the deck. First and foremost, this is a beautiful write-up.
Beautiful.
Hidden off to the
Gorgeous.
side down a quaint country road lies North Point Exotic. It was here my pal and I shared our first Wisconsin Gentleman Club experience. As we walked into the club and approached the bar, we noticed a shirtless blonde walking toward us. She then seated herself between my buddy and I. It was then we realized that the strippers were being personable with many others inside the establishment. We ordered a couple beers and she began chatting with us. From here, the conversation took twists and turns, everything from small talk to some strong language. As we glanced left, we quickly realized this establishment tailors to men and women of all ages. There stood dancer number 2, a beautiful 5-foot-4 beach blonde woman in her mid-60s. She was glowing. From there, my pal and I acquired a handful of ones and moved towards Strippers Row. It was then we noticed more dancers pouring in. The show was on! Exclamation point. At center stage, we experienced many things. Some girls were new, and others performed acrobatics we had never witnessed. Between a lot of rockin' hip-hop songs and Baby Oil, 2 beautiful African-American women appeared out of nowhere. It was then and only then we knew that these girls ran the show! Exclamation point. Like a thunderstorm in April. Sorry. Apologize. Like a thunderstorm in April, we made it rain all over them. With a little lighter pockets, my pal and I moved back to the bar for a few cold beers. It was here the spark turned into a flame, with the 2 ethnic dancers. We found out these ladies were sisters and shared a close bond, which made us feel comfortable and at home. After a little more jitter juice, we bought a round robin of private dances from the sisters. It was truly incredible! Exclamation point. Sometime around 11 p.m., we were introduced to dancers 3 and 4. Striking an uncanny resemblance, this was a mother-daughter duo. It was here we found out that this was a family business. A downside to this warm, fuzzy feeling the Exotic gave us was the complimentary tipping. After every dance, good, bad, or ugly, the dancers demanded tips for their bosoms. With the dollars remaining... With the dollars remaining, we spun the wheel of fortune. It was a 1 in 30 chance of winning, but it was our lucky night. We won lap dances, free shots, and the list goes on and on. After a solid, inebriated few hours, we said our goodbyes. The feeling was exotic. To this day, my pal and I still reminisce about the cuddles and conversations with our African queens. Without a doubt, we will be back. Thank you, North Point Exotics. God bless Wisconsin and all its fruits.
Wow. That's like a modern day Bill Shakespeare of Yelp reviews. Best Yelp review I've ever heard in
What a
my
writer.
life. Like, yeah. Holy. Got ourselves a writer here.
Exclamation point.
I'd read that book. And
I
you
would
should
read-
audiobook it.
Dude, that's like the 50 Shades of Grey of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I've ever
The top review had 4 likes. This has 23.
23.
Yeah. Just incredible. You know, you can't write it. These are the stories I'm going to
Can't
tell
make
my
that shit up,
grandchildren.
dude.
Dude, that's so true, though.
That's
Yeah.
a that's
I
a
mean, there's
great
like,
one.
Tell me an open story.
I don't.
Tell me an
There's
Intune
nothing-
Marine
I
demo
gotta-
traveling story.
I gotta piss real quick. I got some for that.
Yeah.
I got some.
that was a yes. That was
He's
a
got
confirmation.
something. This podcast is brought to you by my brother from another mother, my tournament partner, and the best rod builder north of the equator that still has 20/20 vision, Veselka Fishing and Customs, specializing in custom fishing rods. Your custom rod, the way you want it, because it has to be your rod. However, he has a wide variety to choose from, including his all-new for 2023 custom chicken rod. If you throw the big fluff, the hairy Gary, the rotisserie dissery, the half-ounce Palomalu, the 3/4-ounce rooster biscuit, the lightener looking like D. Snyder, you're going to want to be throwing the Veselka Fishing Chicken Special Big Hair Jig Rod. Mr. Veselka spent a lot of time on this rod, and it has the perfect action to throw, hook, and land those fish that you maybe pulled the bait out from because the rod was too stiff, or had them spit it because your rod didn't have the backbone. Well, the new chicken special from Veselka Fishing and Customs has worked to solve both of those issues, along with superior balance and quality components. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. Pick this rod up before it's too late, because up here in the North Country, they about to be schooling. Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time home buyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com.
I
might
think
go
you
to
know
Rip
exactly
one,
what
too,
I'm about
and
to
think
say.
about it as we're going.
Take a quick leak. Chad will give us some insight.
Oh, yeah, you go.
Anyone
drop
else
it.
have-
I'll drop out when
Wait.
you're dropping in. What?
Okay.
Wait,
Yep,
what?
a rolling piss break. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
All
not?
right. You go.
Or-
He'll fill, and then when you
Yeah.
come back, you'll fill. He'll
Right
go.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah.
JP's going to go wet the
Man,
whistle.
I'm trying to think of a good open story though. I mean, dude, there's a lot of good times, but oh man, sorry, I'm just trying to think. I gotta think of a
dude,
good one.
The beauty of this is
Yeah.
But
There's
you
nothing
might not be able to think of them just offhand, but
it is hard off the dome.
you probably have
is.
so many
Oh yeah,
that
a
happen
ton.
in
I mean,
between
for sure,
practice.
dude. Like
Yeah.
He's like,
if
hey,
I'm like
he's
in
more
the
of a writer.
flow of like thinking about it, like I can like probably pop a bunch up. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think of like a good one to like quick draw. Like out of all of it, you
Yeah.
know, like that's the hard part.
There's so much.
But
It's a decade, dude.
okay, I got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for.
Go on, folks.
Oh man, this is dude. Just cause you dropped some heat,
I
I'll drop a
indulge. I
little.
opened
I'll
up.
drop a little too. But
Little-
this one's on me. You got
little
to
fire.
drop Hayes. This one's on me.
Hayes will be fine. It's,
So-
it's genius.
All right, screw it. So it was after Cherokee Lake. Were you there for that one? We came and met up with you before this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it was on Cherokee Lake in the fall. I forget what year. I don't know. 2022, 21.
Let them know that
Whatever.
Cherokee Lake in the fall is absolute just booty cheeks.
Piss
It's
poor.
horrible fishing.
Yeah.
Horrible.
The highlight of my
don't like booty
the highlight of my entire entire time there in the fall was I caught a 4-pound largemouth and a 4-pound smallmouth on the same cast on a spook.
What?
It was pretty sick.
He is a picture of it.
I got a video of it. Yeah, I'll try to find it later. But
Show pro.
yeah, no, but okay.
Anyway.
So I ended up meeting up with a couple buddies, Cody Honor and Connor Graham, and it was post tournament, right? So we both all had kind of like a rough tournament. We're like, whatever, like you guys want to hang out, and like I was sleeping in my truck at a campsite by myself for the whole duration of the tournament, and my campsite had ended, and they were staying at an Airbnb or a buddy's place that they had, and they had one more night there. So they're like, come over, like have a few drinks, let's just like loosen up, have a good time, whatever. I'm like, sounds good. Yeah. And I think I had a tournament after that or something, so like I was staying on the road for the time. No, I wasn't. I was going home. Nonetheless, stayed that night, went up, met up with them. We drank like a whole bottle of whiskey that night. We met up with Sobi. We like drove the boat down the lake, like middle of the night, following the moonlight, and just like, and the worst part about it is like we're like, okay, yeah, it's somebody said it was like a 5-minute boat ride, and
It was not a 5-minute
it was like
boat
a
ride.
45-minute boat ride in the pitch black. It was kind of chilly. Like, it was just like, okay, so we're just here for it now. But we're going. We do that. And so this isn't even the part of the story. And so we come back and we wake up. I mean, like, obviously we're like pretty hungover and whatever. We had a good night. And Cody and I like are looking at each other. Like, Connor left already. Like, he already was like out of there. And Cody's like, dude, you want to get like a cheap hotel tonight? Like, I do not want to drive across the country today. And I'm like, yeah, totally, actually, same. So he's like, you want to go get some food at like B-Dubs or something? And so we're at like the B-Dubs in Dayton, Tennessee. We get there when they open at 11 a.m. We didn't leave until 10:30 that night. Yeah. And throughout that, at like 4 p.m., I thought it was a good idea to like purchase some Touch Tunes points. And they weren't playing music loud enough. So I went out to my truck, got my own portable speaker, and brought it into the restaurant and set it at the bar and played Avicii as loud as the speaker would go. I have a video of it.
That's incredible.
I'll find it. I'll find that for you guys later. But
Next piss break.
yeah, and so we slept in our trucks in the parking lot with the boats hooked up, and Cody like could tell I was like rustling around in the morning or whatever. And like the managers did not like me at all. Like
At B-Dubs?
yeah.
Oh, maybe that's because
they-
you're playing
yeah.
like new Prague music.
Yeah,
in
no,
your
he like
freaking
the manager came up to me and he goes,
spot,
he's like trying not to laugh because it was so absurd. He's like, you can't just bring in your own speaker, man. And so I'm like, well, the music wasn't loud enough on Touch Tunes that I bought. You know, I was just like, didn't accept it. It was like, okay. But, and so like the night, like, honestly, I'm surprised they didn't kick me out earlier. But they never actually kicked me out. They just were like, okay, like, you're done kind of thing. Like, you can't have any more drinks. I mean, dude, like, and we were like on one, but we weren't that bad. But it was just kind of like, it was just a moment of like,
I think it was like Halloween too.
yeah, it was like something around there.
fall in Tennessee.
But so I wake
Grind.
up in the back of my truck the next morning in this parking lot, like straight out in front of the front door. Like, I mean, we're like the
B-Dubs.
first thing you
B-Dubs
see when
parking
you
lot.
walk out. Yeah,
Real classy.
yeah, in Dayton, Tennessee. Like, we're just chilling. And Cody, and I look over and I see Cody in his front seat of his truck, just like looking on his phone or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, you know, and I'm like rolling around. All of a sudden I hear "Morning Sunshine." And I look over and I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's like, the bartender's worked there for 22 years. You're the third person she ever cut
That's incredible.
That's impressive.
I don't know. I mean, like,
I'd
You
take
did it
it.
early.
yeah.
You know, like
Fuck yeah.
I have to
usually
add.
they're tired by the time they have to cut someone off. Like they were still getting ready for dinner at home.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a precursor to this story is Chad, Cody Honor, and Connor Graham. The shenanigans they pulled before this
Yeah.
were unreal. I was traveling with Greg and Joel at the time, filming them. I was fishing on the coast side.
yeah.
And they had made their way to our campsite, you know, via boat, like he was saying. And the way they pulled up was, first off, incredible. The way Cody parked his boat, incredible. And the way they walked up the hill, incredible. And the tournament before that, Cody Honor was like crushed by this small sedan in a parking lot, and his stomach and his ribs were like pinched against this wall. And Joel like saved his life, dude. Wasn't it Joel? Either way, like Cody almost died the tournament before.
Yeah.
And this was our first time seeing Cody since.
Yeah.
We had made T-shirts that had a traffic cone on them because we were calling Cody Hunter Traffic Cone.
He's a hazard.
So everyone like 2 spots down the way, Brandon Polnick was camping. So we have this awesome photo of Chad and Connor and Polnick and Greg and Joel and Cody Hunter all in these traffic cone T-shirts. Just kind of celebrating the fact that, his internal organs weren't completely crushed. Sure. And then Cody went on that night with Chad and Connor to indulge in some, refreshments. And if you guys could have seen the way they exited the campground that night, it was like, so if this is how someone walks, it was like going down a hill sideways. And they just paddled their boat all the way across the lake to the other side. Incredible.
It was
Incredible.
It was a good time. I don't know. Yeah.
After a tough Cherokee Lake, it was all
Isn't
fair game.
Isn't that when Connor had his like nice Nashville bottle and he forgot it at the campsite?
Yeah, Connor.
You got one. What?
Let's hear it, JP.
JP's got one.
Let's hear it, JP.
What?
You said
fun?
before. You
What
said
kind of-
before. JP is back from.
Do you want
Came
to go
into
battle
mine,
or
I'm
do you
going
want to
out.
go Duluth? Or do you want to go? You tell me what you want.
I say
go
yes.
battle bikes. Battle bikes.
Tell me about a travel story.
And sea bass.
Sea bass.
Battle bikes and sea bass.
You could probably tell the sea bass story better than I can.
You tell me one,
But
and then Aaron tells me one.
Well,
we
we
could
were
tell
both
this one
there.
together.
Like it was like the you and Chad thing. Like
But the bike one,
crazy,
like I was far gone. I can't even tell that story without like you were a part of that too. You got
Yeah, I might have done. Yeah, I might have done it.
yeah.
I did do it. Yeah, I did it. Dear town of Battle Lake, I did it.
Let's hear it.
Battle of the
I
Hogs.
returned him though. Like it was no big deal.
It's
wanna hear
it's
it
a
start
ba-
to finish.
it
Give me
is
some
a-
context.
It is a straight bassin weekend. We got 3 bass boats in Battle Lakes, but
Battle
what's
Lake
the-
area.
Battle
so.
Lake area, but it's like this little town, and there's 3 bass boats. We got it all. I don't know how much I can tell the story. But
Come on.
So
no,
I
but
indulged.
no, but cut me off whenever you want, Teal. But the Rusty Nail, we can start there.
yeah.
The past,
Well, let's
what's
start
the-
with the boys.
Yeah.
So we do an annual trip with our college buddies.
I love it. Tell me the setup.
So it's our buddy Jut, who's from White Bear Lake, who's kind of a bass fisherman, kind of like not, but like loves to bass fish.
Yeah.
His dad's got a cabin in Battle Lake, and
Cool.
we annually we have this tournament like with the boys called Battle of the Hogs, like in Battle Lake.
I love it.
Battle of the Hogs.
Battle of the Hogs.
Yeah, and it's me and JP versus Dane and Jut.
Yeah.
and then
And
Peener,
then Peener and
Becky.
come with us, and then Whitey's come one year.
Yeah,
Like,
he's rowdy.
The nicknames are incredible.
yeah.
There's Judd.
And
There's
this
Judd.
cabin
There's
is
Whitey.
like- this cabin isn't on the lake, but
Dane
it's
and
near
JP.
lakes. And Battle Lake, Fergus area is like all these little lakes. So we just like lake hop, like these little ass freaking sloughs for like a weekend.
Oh, it's the
And
best, dude.
it's like
li-
best
it's
5
literally
a
the best.
day wins. So like that could be 3 lakes, that could be 1
Yeah.
lake,
Could
but,
be
like-
10 lakes.
It's up
Yeah.
to your discretion.
And then I think we actually do total for the weekend. I don't remember. I don't know. We get
We get-
we have a good time. It's more about like
Yeah.
having a good time.
But we do have a tournament side of things. And
we do. We get a little competitive.
We had a heartbreak. We're not gonna get the heartbreakers, but it is a tournament. For
There's
sure.
some lakes that are like just fuego, and it's just like
secret.
5-pounder, like hitter, like
Like
5
gross.
pounder, like
Sick.
25 pounds. For a
And
couple
no
days,
one's
like,
out there. There's just 2 or 3 of us.
and there's
clowns.
not that many spots, so it's
Yeah.
like 2 boats, and so it's like throwing daggers on like 3 spots.
Yeah,
like
that's fun.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude,
Like,
I love that stuff. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the cabin, and he's got a wood stove, and we just like, can I get you some?
No, is this mine?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Your ice melted.
We go back and we sit around a wood stove and we jam tunes and we just talk glory days, like college times, like good tell stories and talk around the fire, and just that weekend you look forward to every year. We just have a good time, but like then we go to the bar.
Once again, I reiterate,
We're just walking distance.
some of the best memories happen on fishing trips outside of the lake.
The bar is literally 100 yards from Judd's cabin where we stay.
That's
And
convenient.
it's about the size of this garage.
Very convenient.
About the size of bar, about the size
Dangerous.
of this garage.
The bar is
Longer
a little bit,
and narrow.
No,
Is
the
that the-
house is smaller than this garage, but the bar is pretty big.
Is that the
Upstairs,
rusty
the
nail?
back? Yeah, the rusty
The rusty nail, it's called.
Dude,
Yep.
we got some.
Legendary.
We got
Like,
5
every year
years.
we get a new
experienced.
story.
Dude.
It's a dead, like, it's not that busy in the town, but like we have a story
is a good
every
one,
year.
though, I
It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, go on.
So I forget how this goes down, but I believe the bartenders at the Rusty Nail that night were
It
the
could have been that
ones-
year.
Yes,
There were
So,
some good lookers.
there's some good lookers. I think one was dating a cop. I think the other one was single,
Definitely
something
single.
like that.
'Cause I,
So
Hell of a lineup per se.
yeah.
definitely single.
You what?
So this is like a cabin, like summery vibe town, like they're, and we're going like heat of like deer hunting season, like we're like October, like out of season, like out of bass, like out of season for like the hustle and bustle in the cabin towns, if you will, like the mini
yeah.
Brainerd or mini Alexandria.
Yeah.
These are the locals.
Lickles.
Yeah, straight
Corn,
up.
corn
Every year, dude. And we're in this bar, and JP and the boys start hitting it off with these bartenders. Like these bartenders, like all of a sudden there's, all these attractive dudes in this bar, and these bartenders are used to like locals and like whatever. It's out of like we're out of season. You know what I mean? We're out of season. They're like,
They're like,
but we always
hello.
don't like. We feel that they're out of season as well. So like there was a dynamic going on there. Like there's 2 chicks and like 6 dudes. Real good ratio.
Yeah.
But they liked us anyway. Like to put it lightly. And we start hitting it off,
Liked
and
you guys.
like
One
this,
thing
the
leads
bar
the
starts
next.
to get a little bit more packed.
The Rusty Nail is a good bar to go to if you're in Battle. Let me just put it that way.
Where? Hang on. Where is this again?
Battle Lake.
Battle
area?
Lake, Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Okay.
the Rusty Nail. So it starts to pack up and fill with like locals and stuff, and these bartenders, they keep like talking to us, and then I think their friends are there or something, like, so there's like maybe a pack of 3, like a wolf pack, like
Yeah.
a small wolf pack, like a small herd of buffalo, if you will.
Just like when a few bass find the bait, like a few more join because they can see the commotion.
Yes, it wasn't a large school.
Yeah.
But
Like when one starts
a
to
small
bust on
herd.
bait or feed,
It was a small herd.
More potentially could come bust on bait and feed.
correct. Yes.
Yeah, I got
yes,
you. I got
yes.
you. I understand now.
So, we were about 6 alphas rolling. And then it's pretty dead. We start hitting it off. And then all these, like, locals start rolling in. And we're like, hey, Bob. Hey, Jim. Hey. And we're hitting it off with the bartenders. We're hitting it off. We're sitting at the bar. And all of a sudden, I look to my right. And there's a dude the size of Texas itself looking me square in the eyes. I swear to God. I was like, and we were like talking fishing, and we were like, kind of, it was a couple hours. A couple hours in, we were a couple hours.
Let's be honest, we're always talking.
Sounds like you needed.
So-
big-
so-
We don't like just like pick fights though. We're not that guys like those guys that pick fights. Okay.
You're a
We're
voluptuous gizzard shad, and this 7P rolls up to you and gives you kind of the stink eye, like
Bingo. Like
ready to kill you.
We are gypsy migrational gizzard shad.
Yeah.
We are not from around here.
Yeah.
And this 7-pounder, it's like you're near my brush pile, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't from around here.
I
are
get it.
ya?
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
We don't like your
We
kind.
don't like your kind around here, boy. Okay.
So
Yeah,
you
like that kind of vibe.
so you meet eye contact meets,
Yes.
and then what happens?
So we're talking like bass fishing and shit, and we didn't know that there's a 7P laying in this brush pile like next to us. And we're
Yeah.
just like talking bass fishing, like gizzard chat out here talking bass fishing, right? Like, oh yeah, bass fishing, oh bass, yeah, we hit Jolly End today, blah blah blah. Yeah, good
Battle
little
Lake,
lake,
feeling
yeah.
great.
Caught some bass. Yeah, we caught some bass out loud, right?
Yeah.
And
24 pounds.
all of a sudden we look over and frick, this guy was not having the bass. And he was not having us. And he was not having anything.
Did you tell him to kick rocks?
We were taking his girls. We were fishing his waters.
This guy could eat
We were sitting in
all
his
of us.
bar stool.
Yeah.
We was in his space, okay?
I'm
We
hungry
was too
too.
close. We was too close for comfort, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? So he starts barking, you know? He starts chirping a little bit. Not barking, you know, a light bark.
What
he
was
starts
his,
with a light
What was his opening line?
So
Wasn't
I
it
couldn't
like?
tell you his
Wasn't it
opening
something like "I eat bass, motherfuckers"?
Yeah, no, it was like
And Teal-
his first line.
Teal's like,
His
"All
first
right."
line was like, "I cut the gills and like throw
yeah.
like." It was like I don't even eat bass.
Like he
I just
personally tried to
like-
offend you as hard as he thought he could.
bingo,
Bingo.
like that. It was like
Teal and Dan were three
he's
sheets
like, I
past the
split
wind
bass
too.
throats.
Not having.
and we
just-
were a little bit tuned up,
She
if
don't-
you will. You know,
I'd been like, dude,
like-
I'm so sorry for
That's
your
that's
life.
sacrilegious.
No, dude, this guy
That's-
was
that's-
500
no, I was
pounds.
ready to go, baby. I was
500
fucking-
pounds.
Like, are you serious? No. So I'm like,
Dude, you're a half a ton right now telling me you eat bass?
no,
That's crazy.
Like,
Is that
this
how you
was
got those
Goliath,
gains?
and I felt like I was David.
And how
at
much
this
does he
point.
weigh?
But
Like,
like a buck 50.
and Dane was the only.
We had
big
your back
friend.
though.
Yeah, I
Nope,
know
yep,
for
yep.
sure.
I mean,
yeah.
I probably didn't say anything.
And
but
I was like,
bark from the back. but-
"Excuse me." Like, I forget what I said, but
excuse me.
excuse me. Okay.
No.
You did
Did
not
you just
say
say
that.
that?
You
Did
did
you
not
just
say
say
that.
Did you
Yeah,
literally
say
just
that.
eat my bass friend?
Did you just say that? out loud?
Yeah, I killed 6 walleyes today.
Dude, he's just a knifer. Like, and I respect knifers, but like,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
in your
whatever,
face,
right?
like
But,
I'm gonna
like-
knife your fish.
But for bass?
No, it was like interrogating.
No,
me,
he was
like,
out to piss us
Like it was
off.
out to piss you off.
Yeah.
This guy was out
100%.
Yeah,
Was-
Like that's
I'm
just
like,
annoying.
Was he solo or did he have a crew?
No, he had a crowd.
I think I started fucking with him.
He
Like,
had a crew.
He
if I
100%
remember
did.
correctly, I was like,
He did.
"Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well that's cool. Where you knife him at?" You know, like I started like
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like, and he,
Yeah,
but he didn't
100%.
like that. Like
The more you make
he
him
wanted me to
talk,
get
the more they
mad,
hate it too.
right? He wanted me to get pissed, and I was like too drunk to be pissed.
No, you were pissed.
Deep down.
Come on, you were pissed.
Well, maybe in my eyes.
Dude, we almost kind of fight.
That was later. That was later. That was later.
Or maybe
This
that
was
a
a.
bit-
It's
I
a
might
slow
be
build.
mixing
It's
up,
a
like-
slow. It's
I
a
might
slow
be
burn.
mixing up the years because we've met this several
That's
years.
what's crazy.
so
is we've seen him.
I might be mixing up the years.
You've
That's
seen
not-
him again?
Oh, dude,
yeah.
just wait.
Sea bass.
This
lives.
dude lives at the Rusty
4
Nail.
years.
This
Like-
dude is the nail.
Yeah, dude.
Every
So
year.
I think it was at this point we nicknamed
bring
him
him a
Sea Bass.
walleye.
Yeah.
I think at this point we nicknamed him Sea Bass.
You should bring him a walleye.
Like dude, it was last year. Remember, Judge? He
don't-
turned
don't-
around
don't-
when he
dude,
saw
don't-
Sea Bass. He was so
Yeah.
scared.
Don't fast forward, dude. I got like 3
Sea Bass
stories,
is real, dude. Oh, okay.
dude.
So
So post I slit gills and you're like, that's cool. Where
cool.
at?
yeah.
Dude,
and he's like
Yeah.
everywhere.
wasn't
He's just like everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
you're like, right on.
he's like, yeah, fucking starts like chirping about people coming into the lakes and like killing bass, and the bass are eating all his walleyes. And I was like, pretty sure you're eating all your walleyes because he's a big guy, right?
Aaron.
And this was the point where that escalated quickly. Is Aaron decided to say, I'm pretty sure you're eating all the walleyes, bro. Like, And that's like, sea bass, oh, fuck. You know? Like, the guy's, like, huge. And I was like, dude, you can't. I was kind of cocky at this point. We were, you know, when the boys get together, you get the boys in a pack. Yeah. You know, the pack mentality.
We were all bargaining.
We were all fucking.
You're ready to bust on bait.
And
You're
it was
furious.
like, you can't kill what you can't catch. Like, this guy is not fast. There's no way. You know?
We could die, but I could outrun him.
For sure. And you know, I'm
hit.
working on sea bass, and JP's over there on the other side of the bar with these two ladies. One's dating a cop, one's single, and I think they both were interested, but so like
Sounds like I need to go hang out with JP
so we
more.
ultimately oh, for sure. Dude, JP's good shit. He slingshotted me in for the win last year with
Donna.
Why did you guys have that queued up so well? Oh my god!
Did you hear it? Dude, didn't you hear us earlier? I was like, that reminds me of, and I didn't want to say, I was like, Donna. And I brought up.
Maybe I missed that. That's hilarious.
So where does this progress?
Oh,
I need to know.
Okay.
What year do you want, dude?
It escalates
What
big
year?
time.
Every year is a story.
Oh,
this,
every
this
year.
one's good though. Looks, this one like
This one like
sets
keeps
it in
going.
stone. Yeah.
Keeps going.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
like all of a sudden, like Seabass is pissed.
Yeah.
He's pissed.
He's always
fucking
pissed. Dude, this
he threw a chair, like fucking breaks a chair, and he's coming at us. And I'm like, I felt like the front line. Like, I don't know what it feels like to be in the military, but I felt like I was on the front lines of the Marines at this point. You know what I mean?
It was
Like,
basically you
I'm
and
taking
Dane.
heavy fire.
Yeah.
It was me and Dane, yeah. And Dane had my back. He's my brother.
I mean,
and
don't say I didn't have your back.
oh,
I was,
you were no, dude.
JP was, you know,
We had your back.
No,
we
I
were
was-
keeping Seabass away from
JP was building a bed,
Yeah.
you know, requesting
You had
a fine woman to
you were
come
building your
potentially
own
spawn.
bridges. You were building your own bridges. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're
Was this
building a bed.
springtime? Was this spring?
Fall,
Fall.
every year.
Oh gosh, always
dang,
in the
I didn't
fall.
know.
putting on the winter
It's
weight.
always in the fall.
Spawn in the fall.
It's always in the fall. Shad spawns.
Fall spawn.
Shad
Fall
spawns
spawn.
in the
Fall
fall.
spawn.
Chad.
Fall spawn.
Shad spawn is in the fall.
Fall spawn.
So
It's scary
Fall
how I
spawn.
don't know
This
how.
was a fall spawn moment.
I don't know
every
how
year.
you're gonna finish the story. I'm kind of.
I'm ready.
Because
yeah, no,
I
because
just
he
know
blacked out shortly hereafter. But
me.
maybe. I didn't.
bring
I
it,
remember.
bring it home. I
The
need
bike
closure.
Like, is
I
this
know.
the
I'm
bike
getting,
night?
I'm getting to that. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
I'm getting to that.
I
hit the
need
sheets.
it.
Yeah, he blacked out at this point. So the bartender ladies see Seabass
Approaching.
escalating, you know, to put it lightly. Like he's going fucking. He starts,
This dude could eat you as an appetizer.
yeah, and I'm like,
relax.
Seabass. Wow, this guy's huge. You know,
Poor guy.
I was like, huh. So these bartenders like get in between us and they like break it up, and he's like, bro, like, kinda like
That had to feel
fucking-
cool. Like at some point you were
Oh, for
probably
sure.
be like,
I was
yo,
like-
yo, pull me back.
yo, like yo, hold me back.
He
These-
don't want this
These
smoke.
hot chicks
He don't
have
want
our back.
this smoke.
These hot chicks have our back.
You want this?
You want some super
want this?
soca? You want some?
You want this dog?
Dude literally eats bats.
we weren't with Dane. We were with Tequila Dane.
Tequila Dane, not Dane. Tequila.
Tequila.
What does that mean?
Snap.
It
So
means
tequila-
everyone in
What
this
does
in this
that mean?
house. If you don't have a tequila shot in your hand, then get the fuck out.
So I started it with like I bet you ate all of them. Like,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
bet
sure you
did.
ate all of them. Like I started with that, and then Dane backed me up with like, you know, like the real heat. You know, like, I was like the guy playing the morning trumpet like for war.
Yeah.
I was like the guy who like goes up and like, you know, and then Dane was like, fought like he's like, yeah, he's like fired more shots. You know, like,
He like grabbed the gun.
yeah.
He's like, do something.
Yeah, so
He's like,
then
do it.
pretty sure Seabass left. I'm pretty sure those chicks got Seabass to leave.
The local.
The local chicks that
Bartender.
you know that
slash-
bartend.
No,
and
it was
stuff.
a bartender, and she called in backup. She's like,
did.
"Hey, girls,
More chicks
We
showed
got
up.
five bassin bros.
5 good-looking
Yeah,
dudes.
that's what
That's what you're gonna do, dude.
called
like,
in
"Get
reinforcements.
the
They're like,
fuck
Seabass is about
up
to take
here."
out all of these gentlemen.
Seabass
We
is
need
here.
to
Get them
Charlie. It was some
preoccupied
Charlie's
ASAP.
Angels shit. They pulled some Charlie's Angels shit.
There's 5 males on bed and 1 common carp is coming up to blow it all out. I told you, Tina, get up here. There's 5 males on bed and there's 1 carp blowing it out, okay?
If we don't get Seabass out of here, they might lock antlers.
Oh man.
So where
So
did it
at this
progress
point-
from there?
So at this point, it was like, maybe we should bring these ladies back to the cabin. You know,
For
Like,
their
it
kind,
was, like,
for
getting
their
late
for
and
their
we're-
generous
you know,
efforts.
it's-
Naturally.
Bartender.
They
So
saved our lives.
Yeah,
you know?
they saved your
They
lives.
saved our lives.
You owed
It's
them
the least
a
we
lot.
could do.
This is late night because
Bar closed. So
Did you say 2 a.m.?
I fast forwarded this.
Oh.
It was a. I tried to slow build it good, but it was slower. It was a slower build than I.
this
even
is year 1. We have
built
like
it,
4
so.
of these, 5 of these, 6 of these.
This is
probably.
every year. I swear to God.
So the
Every
Rusty
year it's
Nail stays open late.
Oh.
And it was way late in the night where you said, "Hey, I
Try-
appreciate your
It was
kindness.
AM.
This
Thank you for taking
This gets
our
better.
lives into your hands and
This gets
saving
better.
them.
I'm not sure what happened.
Come on back to the cabin to
your
battle
side of
it."
They
the story?
didn't. They didn't come back right away. The boys went back. Okay, and
I know my side of the story.
I know my side of the story, and no one knows my side, and it is epic.
No one knows my side of the story.
So the boys went back. They gave up. These chicks, they didn't ask. Okay.
Hold.
So there's a bike rental. No.
Okay,
Well,
sorry.
you might have asked, but
No, I thought you
told
jumped.
them.
I thought you jumped to the house. Go on. Sorry.
so the boys are back, and I hang low. I hang back, ride caboose, you know, way back.
Me too.
And there's a bike rental place between the Rusty Nail.
Literally a block. There's a
just
block.
cabin.
There's one.
Who wants a Huffy?
There's one stop, and it happens to be a bike stop. So
So
It's a nice Huffy, boy.
that's a hell of a Huffy
Like
boy.
bird scooter rental type stuff.
Those were pretty locked up, but I did check all of the locks, and there was 2 Huffies, fresh, ready to rip.
One was a Huffy, one was a
So
Schwinn.
I'm like, boys. So they went to the cabin. They went to the cabin. I double back to the bar, to the Rusty.
with
I was like, come back to the cabin.
Solo. You said
Hey,
this
no,
isn't
I was
over.
like, I was slingshotting JP in
I had a bike too.
for
dude.
the win.
Hey, I had a bike too.
So yes, I think JP doubled back as well, and we both stole bikes.
Hold on. Can I say?
Yeah, I want to hear his side.
I mean, I don't know.
I might
if
have
this
fucked
is-
it up.
No, you didn't. Like
It
I don't
blends
know.
together at some point.
It does. I think this is.
But
where
I
it does
remember,
blend. You
like-
took this is what happened. You found a bike and you found your way home. I found a bike and did not find my way home.
oh yeah,
Okay.
but there was one.
Nope. This is where it gets
their
good.
gang split up.
This is so you found it back to Juts. I found myself lost in Battle of the Lake, and I fell off my bike a few times. I had a few cocktails, and
Schwinn Biff.
I swear on sea bass. I swear on sea bass.
Swear on the name. See,
The first car to pull up to me as I'm like limping on the ground, probably fell off my bike, was the bartenders.
that's what it was.
I swear to Jesus.
That's
and,
what it
and
was.
I respectfully returned my bike back to the mom and pa shop.
that
But
night.
Yep. And
I
then
didn't.
I was like in the car with these girls, and they're like, "Where do you live?"
Give me a ride?
That
There, I was
wasn't
like-
all of them.
What?
'Cause I swear to God, a chick rubbed pegs
No. Well, maybe.
on mine.
I had 2. Okay. Well, hear that side. Let me finish this one, dude.
What?
So I was like, we were riding around Battle of the Lake, Minnesota, and they were like, "Where are you staying?" And I was like, "Find the bass boats. Find the bass." and there's 2 a Vexus, a Camus, and another Vexus boat. So like you can't in a little town, you can't miss it. And sure
no way.
shit, we pull up, and the girl's like, "No shit,"
And
we
Mama
go-
was there.
yeah. And
All I remember was this tiny cabin filled with women and dudes. Just
Well, we came in
It was like the
eventually, but-
boys' weekend, like night at the fire, like Friday night, like everybody like reminiscing on good times.
I'm
And then
hanging out with
Saturday
JP.
night, it was like college all over again. There's a bunch of people in the cabin. And there's 2 bikes in the cabin.
We did bring a
Why are
straggler
the bikes
back,
in
yeah.
the cabin? The bass boats are outside. Like, what's the problem with bikes being outside? We returned the bikes the next morning.
And the one had pegs, so that was clearly a mongoose
No,
or something cool.
Dude, they had pegs, dude.
It
They
had
were
pegs.
badass
I don't know
bikes.
where you got the pegs from, but dude,
There was a 2-seater. I don't remember.
Ain't no way.
We got separated, but I
we sure did.
don't even know, man.
I picture JP like as he had fallen off his bike a few times, just like a gorgeous 3-pound male that had gotten side hooked, and it's a little limp, but it's still trying to make its bed. And then like these females pull up to the shallows, and he's like, "Follow the bass boats." Follow the bass
Look for the boats.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's the only tradition that really, like, besides Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays, that like
I look forward to
that sticks around, right?
Right.
Like you go on those trips or you do those deals, but like that is something we do with our friends every
and the fact that we've
single
ran into
year. Like
sea
that's hard to
bass.
pull off, and we do it.
Dude, that is hard, and that's like,
That's sweet.
Awesome.
That's tradition.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's straight up tradition.
but that's Sorry, you go.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go.
You go.
No, but
This is what I need to know. Your one clearly was, a home run per se. I need to know, as you roll back into the Rusty Nail, order a bacon cheeseburger and a couple cold beers, and you see sea bass roll in for the very first time, a year to the day, and you make eye contact with him, and he looks back, what happens?
So
Tell him
like,
last year.
2 years later.
stays.
2 years later. This was after we'd seen him 2 years in a row at the Nail. We decide we're gonna eat at a different restaurant for dinner. And I swear to God on my soul, Jut walks in. It's more of a family establishment. Jut walks through the first set of front doors.
But sea bass still local.
Does not make it through the second set of front doors. He's like, sea bass is here. We have to eat somewhere else.
No, dude. We all turned.
Oh,
we,
dude, I'd be.
No,
I'd be
dude,
the first
we
one
all-
to
And I was like,
like,
are you fucking
dilute
kidding?
a
This is a
situation.
family restaurant. There are families everywhere. I don't even know if they serve booze here.
What was
Like,
the name of the family restaurant?
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
What didn't you
You and I
not?
are
Didn't you
going,
see
like,
him?
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because you know how
remember.
you know how like you walk into an establishment and you wait for the waiter to come up and like,
Yeah.
how many you got?
Yeah.
And we're all like, 1, 2, 3, 6 of us, and we turned around and he was right there in like a little booth, and we're like,
What was
0.
we're gonna go
We
back.
don't have any
Dude.
anywhere.
and from
It's
what you
called
saw
Stubbs
from,
Dining and Saloon.
Whoa.
So we were going to walk into Stubbs Dining and
That's-
Saloon.
and
that was-
clearly
got
you
through the
recognize
first set,
brunch.
turned around, walked 3 blocks to a different
Did
restaurant.
But
he
that's
recognize
the night-
you?
I don't know. Jet walked in first, and he's like,
I
can't
saw him.
do it, man.
I saw
Damn.
him. I saw him too. But
I
that,
didn't see
that
him.
was Donna night, wasn't it?
I was done.
So we probably saw sea bass later that night at yeah.
That was another night at the Nail. We met a few ladies. T-Shoe's dad slingshotted us for that one. Nothing great happened that night.
Yeah, nothing-
But it was a slow build to nothing, but it was good.
Good weekend. It's always fun bassing with like your best friends.
Oh,
and just having those weekends
Dude,
where
it goes back to Sobi's main point, right? So like it's just super fun. Like the memories you make, like it all becomes, it's just like hanging out with buddies, doing whatever, but you're all there for a purpose, and like you all like accumulate from multiple areas.
Yeah.
And you're all able to relate in the same way at the same time and just like have a good time. So it's crazy
Nothing
how
better.
it all lines up, but it's just weird.
Dude, it really is. It's the most insane, memorable moments happen off the water on fishing trips, but they don't just happen on trips. They happen on fishing trips. I'm here to say it, Scout's honor, and that's we might be biased because we're fishermen, but any of you listening, I know you've been on trips, and some of the most fondest memories you've ever had have been on a fishing trip with pals off the water.
I think the cool thing though about it is like you can plan trips like with your friend circle and go plan this trip where you're going, I don't know, Miami or whatever you want to do, right? But like go have a good time, but all you're doing there in a different place is the same thing. that you do at home when you're all together, drinking, having fun, doing all this good time stuff. When you're with like a fishing community, you all come from separate lives that you weren't planning, but you're planning the same event. You're there for a purpose. You're not there for anything other than that, and you just naturally like gather,
share the
to
share the
have
same
this kind of
passions.
thing.
Stumble into this stuff.
Yeah,
It's a
you
big, small
stumble
world
into
out
it.
there.
It's a big small world out there where you are almost just like no expectations are the best expectations, where it just all becomes something, and it's so fresh, it's so new, and it's all this kind of good stuff, and you just become this environment around like what like, and you have no plan for it.
Right.
That's the fun, right? It's the
Almost like
unexpected.
tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Just how the cookie
You know?
crumbles, yeah.
That's
It's
so
pretty cool.
It's really cool.
For sure.
It's pretty cool.
And you can't write it. You really
You
cannot
can't.
write it. You
Unless
can't
it's a
write it.
Yelp review.
Then you can
Yeah, you can write
You
that.
can write that
You
down.
can read it. You can
Shout
write
out
it.
to Hayes
Shout out,
William
Hayes.
Shakespeare Baldwin.
Oh my
Legendary dude.
Girls, welcome to the third period.
Welcome to the third
We're going to start out with the happy days. Happy days.
Happy days.
Happy
With
days.
a little
Hey,
bit of
Bob.
a whistler.
Yep, a little whistler.
We're running low, we're running dry, but it keeps our chops nice and whistling.
We've talked about some Champions Tour. We've talked about some happy days. We've talked about some stories. We've talked about some reviews. I'd like
Seabass.
to kind of parlay this back into
Parlay.
period number one. And kind of where we left off on period number one, where Chad was talking about the Bassmaster Opens, and more specifically as a co-angler. If you are a young angler and you don't have a boat, or maybe you do have a boat, but you have aspirations at learning or fishing at a higher level, would you suggest the Opens, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so things have changed a lot, right? So we had like the FLW tour that had co-anglers. They no longer do that anymore, and obviously they're not FLW, they're MLF, and they're the pro circuit, I think. Is that what it is? But nonetheless, for me, like, I didn't have the means to go about fishing nationally as a boater. I had a bass boat at the time. I was fortunate for that, but I worked hard to get that. And from there, it was kind of like an opportunity for me to go travel and fish around the country for a lot less money that I didn't really even realize the opportunity at the time, but like as I got into it more, it was very, very beneficial. You're in a boat with a bunch of different people. I was fortunate to have someone like Josh, Figgy, Seth, who all, I could practice with them and get a lay of the land and whatnot. But like the real value comes from hopping in a boat on tournament day with somebody you've never met before most of the time. And you're put in their best case scenario that they have for a tournament, and you learn a lot in those moments. You learn a lot about what they were doing. You learn a lot about their mentality and how they handle the given day. And like a big thing that I've been an advocate for is learning from other people's mistakes or successes. And you start to analyze that over time, and you start to realize like a common denominator almost, that what works when and what doesn't then. And so you learn how people adjust. You get to like be on the outside looking in, and it's really, really eye-opening, I think, if you pay attention to it.
JP, you think you'd ever do the Opens as a co?
He's a good cow.
I think that would be I think that would be a great start to the whole fishing world. I think it's crucial actually to to get where you want to be, and that to learn
being a catching fish behind a guy who is top notch, I think that's crucial, honestly. So definitely, I think it's huge, and especially in today's world.
You've learned a lot as a co.
I mean, I've just been club fishing a lot. But then again, fishing out at the back of your boat is, I have to learn a lot because
You teach me things too. That's the thing is like you take somebody fishing, and Chad, you've maybe experienced this. Sobi, you maybe experienced. JP, I know you've experienced this where you teach the guy who's running the boat something, and like there's a benefit both ways, whether you're taking the guy fishing or you're going fishing with that person. And Chad, you could probably attest to this from like a mentorship standpoint, from being a co-angler, of like, this is something I've learned with the guys who've taught me how to fish, and it's like there's a give and take, and you guys learning to get into this sport that want to be something else, just remember that, because if you're a taker, if you're just take, people will stop wanting to give you stuff. Well, what makes a good relationship, just like a wife, just like a super Steph, just like whatever it is, right?
Mama.
There's a give and take to anything. And like what was cool for me growing up was like guys like Nick Gross, who's a neighbor of mine now. Like we would get in the boat, and Nick had more experience than me in years, but you know, I was maybe doing something a little bit different than he was doing, and I would learn from Nick, and Nick would learn a little bit from me. But my number one goal as a co-angler or as a guy fishing out of Nick's boat, you know, honored by the opportunity to learn from a guy like that, it was, I am like doing everything I can to give this guy something in return for what I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
And you can maybe attest to that, Chad.
There's a quote that I've been kind of like a big fan of, and it goes something like this, but it's an idiot doesn't learn from their mistakes. A smart person learns from their mistakes, but
sure.
a genius learns from other people's mistakes.
Ooh. Definitely not a genius.
I'm not, but like concept wise,
Deep.
like conceptual wise,
deep,
it's
yeah.
there, you know, like
Yep.
it's interesting to like break that down.
For sure.
So like I've never, like I'm not, again, like I'm 100% not calling myself a genius, like totally not. But it goes with the proven fact of like fishing as a co-angler and like the point you should be doing it. Where if you were to hop into like, let's just say the opens, and you go out there and you're like trying to learn, it's really hard to learn from your own mistakes when you don't know what's wrong.
right.
If you go out there and you learn from your mistakes, like it's higher power to you. But as a co-angler, you're able to go put yourself in that position for a lot lower cost in those scenarios to learn from other people's mistakes.
Sure.
That is valuable.
That's super valuable.
Yeah.
You get to watch them make the right decision. You get to watch them most of the time make the wrong
That's
decision.
where it becomes a learning curve.
For
you
sure.
know, like it's easy to come out of a good tournament and just be like, oh yeah, and like, you know, whatever, but you learn the most from your bad ones or their bad ones.
Without a doubt.
For sure.
I remember the Silverados. That's the closest thing that I've, I guess, seen in the state of Minnesota to like being a co-angler on the Bassmaster Opens would be like the Silverado Pro-Am back in the day. And that Pro-Am, like,
That's
I
so
was,
cool you got to compete in those.
for sure. You know, I was old enough to compete in
I didn't
those
even know
and
those
too
were a
young
thing
to
when I
compete
was
in
like,
those. You know,
yeah, that's sick.
yeah, they were a cool deal. And I wasn't on like the thriving part of the Silverado. Like that was before my time even. I was on the tail end of it. I was just in the Junior Bassmasters pre-high school fishing. Just like you guys, I think. There wasn't high school fishing when you guys were around, right? You guys are only a couple years younger than me.
Very little. We competed in a couple high school state tournaments, but it was like
It wasn't
30
even much
though.
of a thing when we were like
No,
coming
Yeah.
up.
it was like
Yeah.
not a thing, but it was a little thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we had the Junior Bass Master Club, which was hosted by an adult fishing club, which is the Granite City Bassmasters. They're out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. And you know, I was just a kid getting into the sport, and my dad doesn't fish. My grandpa got me into it, walleye fish or whatever, generic fishing, so to speak. And got into this junior club, and these couple of the better pros, which was Sean Haig and Doug Petrak at the time, fished the Silverados as pros, right? And these guys kind of ran the club that took the juniors fishing for the junior league nights, so to speak, right? So I fished a year of junior leagues and got to know the Sean Haig, who now lives in Texas, and Doug Petrak, who now is a full-time guide on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
These are the guys who really molded me for bass fishing, along with Nick Gross, who was Doug Petrak's partner. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so Silverados, I get to, like, Doug's fishing these bigger events. Like, I'm a kid, there's these little events, and now I'm hearing about these bigger events. Like, oh, Pro-Am. Like, dang, I could fish that. So I went to a few weigh-ins, and it was, like, pretty cool. And the next year I signed up as an AM, I remember, and not knowing a co-angler side of things, you know, you think it's the mega bowl of mega bowls, right? It's the Silverado.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
It was basically the equivalent, for me at the time, not knowing anything, it was basically the Bassmaster Opens, right? These guys knew what the hell they were doing. And I didn't. I was a little kid. So I was really excited. And it's so weird because the pros I was with, no knock on them, but I didn't get like these insane draws that I heard about. Your Dean Capras, your Brad Leifermans, your Corey Putnams, your what have you. That first year I fished, and it was one of those deals where I think we fished Lahamadu the first time and we got an okay finish, and then the second tournament was on Lake Minnewaska, and I think we had barely cashed a check on Lahamadu, and I had drawn the guy who had gotten second last on Lake Lahamadu for Lake Minnewaska. So I'm like, sweet. But Chad was saying earlier how he would go with pros and help them practice. Well, the year that I started fishing the Silverados as an AM, Doug had moved to Kentucky. So Nick Gross was Doug's partner. Nick Gross jumped up to fish the pros in the Silverado, and I was like, the AM, and I had asked Nick Gross, like, hey, can I practice with you for these, right? And what I learned practicing with Nick Gross prepared me so much to be a co-angler in those events, or at least, you know, kind of lucked out to be, right? So that second event on Lake Minnewaska, I'd practiced with Nick Gross, and we had just a time. And I had all this confidence in a jig worm out there. And remember, I drew a guy who'd not finished well in Lahamadu, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I was kind of down in the dumps before the event, and he had found some fish out in, like, Egypt, he said. You know, I was like, whatever, I got this jig worm I like. You know, and we go out, and so Silverados, it was a Pro-Am event, but you fished as a team. So that was kind of the unique part about it.
I didn't know
I
that.
don't think I did either.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the case.
So it was 6 fish, your best 6 fish, and the AM and the Pro fish as a team. That's how it works.
I had no idea that was.
Which is a
Honestly, I
really
don't think I
cool
did
deal
either.
because
Yeah.
it totally took that back boater
It's almost like the
out of it,
US
unless there
Open
was a huge ego
or
with-
whatever.
Maybe, yeah.
But sorry, yeah.
But at
that
that
was,
point,
like, an
he
amazing
wants you
part
to
about
catch
it.
him. You want him to
The guy
catch
in the
him.
front-
There's
yeah.
like
How did-
ultimate
how did-
camaraderie
Right.
of like,
There's that
dude, we're
camaraderie
doing this.
built.
Right.
Like, let's do this.
And I think about like why there isn't that now with the high school. Like you have AMs lined up,
Yeah.
and there's no Pro Am. But anyway, there's Marshalls in the Classic Bass Champions Tour, which is a priceless learning experience. But so the
I've had some of the coolest like marshalling high school kids in the champions
Oh,
tour,
yeah.
too, for the record. Like they've been
I've had some
the
awesome
coolest.
marshals.
Yeah.
shout out Marshalls.
Shout out.
You shouldn't watch this till you're 18, but we love you. So
Good point.
So we're on this flat in Egypt, and he's like, I was catching them on a jig. I was like, I can't catch them on a jig on Lake Minnewaska. Like, I don't, or didn't used to. And this was back when the largemouth would win.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was soaking that jig worm out of the back of the boat, and I think I weighed all 6 of our fish that day. And it's not bragging, but like it was like that Chad Smith co-angler moment where you're soaking a jig worm out the back, bail open, and this was on my birthday. We took second that day.
That's cool.
To Shane Raveling. Yep. And Shane Raveling probably had the tournament won in like 5 minutes, but that spot Shane won off of, we later learned, Nick Gross ended up winning like the next 5 tournaments off that spot. He started like 50 yards down and took like 5th or 7th that tournament, the guy I practiced with, and like I was like all down in the dumps before the tournament, and this guy like found this Egypt grass that was out in nowhere because Waska is super flat.
Yeah.
So that's like what's cool about the lake is you can, like, you used to be able to find these really cool schools of largemouth that were like to yourself.
Yeah.
And he'd found some bass, like some really good ones in practice. It like the spot Shane won off of, like that was the winning, like you couldn't beat it. Like Nick Gross won like the next 4 or 5 tournaments off that
That's
spot.
so
Like
cool.
it was
That is cool.
but it was a cool moment for me anyway. But that Silverado tour, it was like that thing you said, Chad, that Josh told you about. There's bass everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like almost as an am, you're like, oh man, I got a bad draw. Oh man, I got a guy who's a hack. Not necessarily. And I
Yeah.
learned that, I guess, fishing as a team, from a team standpoint. But like, I don't know.
I think it all goes
Silverados
back-
were cool, man,
It all goes back to confidence, right?
for sure.
So like, if you literally believe it, it's like that manifestation stuff we talked about earlier. If you actually believe that there's a bass at every cast, then like you're gonna be in good hands, I think.
I actually think you're right. That focus, that
Mentality.
to be able to do that every cast and literally think about every time you're pulling your lure that there's a 5-pounder behind it. I tell myself to do that, but doing that for 8 hours straight,
It's hard.
I'll be honest, it's hard to do.
It's creating the good habits, and it becomes something that like even on that like lackadaisical cast or something that you don't think is the right one, that's when you get bit, and then all of a sudden you're
Totally.
dialed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's when it catches you off guard. It's almost like the perfect storm. It always happens, right? When you don't expect something in fishing is when it happens.
And it's kind of back what Dougie said on your previous podcast is like fishing with different people is a cheat code. It is.
honestly
and,
is.
and you
Yes.
you might not take away the world from it. You might not fish with a different person and be like, "Wow, now I can win a Bassmaster Classic." But when you fish with different people, you pick up on this thing or that thing, or you might be able to pack a sandwich better, or you might be able to learn this bait works well in a jig worm, or this bait, oh my God, you can drop shot that bait, or wow, you don't peg your weight.
He
or,
was
wow, you
saying
do
that
this.
with his style.
It's an
Yeah.
all-around encompassing
Like
benefit.
with his style, like you are who you're
Everybody
influenced
fishes
by.
different. Everybody fishes different.
But we can all attest to that guy we fished with the most, that
Yep.
influenced us, that shaped your style
For sure.
of
Yes.
fishing maybe more than
Yeah.
the next guy. And like I think about like Nick Gross, some of those guys and how they shaped my style as an angler. And it's almost a little ace in the hole if you are able to take that and run with it and continue to evolve it and
Yes.
put your own twist on it.
That.
Like I can't be Jay-Z. Like
Yeah.
there's no way.
Right.
I'm white.
You're Aaron Teal.
You know what I mean?
You're in too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
So-
you can take all those little bits and pieces and put
Yeah.
them together
Bingo.
into your own formula.
Yep.
Or you can
You
find your
tailor
own
make
Beyonce.
it to Aaron Teal.
Tailor made. R7 driver.
Gang.
Leg
Taylor
flex.
But no, for real, that's a real thing, and like I think that's like the power of it. It's learning how to take bits and pieces from everybody you encounter and putting it into your own formula to make it work best for you.
Totally.
It sounds it's complicated, but it's actually that simple.
Well, you know how many fishing spots I've received since I started this podcast? 0. Okay?
Yeah.
But you know how much like I've learned, like, it's not about that. Like, learning how people think, getting to talk to you
Yep.
guys, getting to talk to
And
different
that-
anglers, and understanding how different anglers think about the sport, think about water, think about fishing.
That'll
I've learned
resonate
more
with
from
something that you've learned, resonate with something that you've learned in the past on the water. Like, dude, that's crazy
good
you say
point.
that. Like, just listening to your podcast and the different things that, like, a Jim Moyno will say or this person will say, like, I'll be sitting in the truck driving and be like, oh, and it's like different light bulbs will pop off everywhere. And
Dude,
no smoke, serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that's
so
the
real.
benefit of this podcast.
Yeah.
Is that you have brought together all of these like unique individuals, and everyone else gets to sit here and be here.
Yeah.
Well, like, I appreciate that a lot,
Yeah.
first off. But, like, B, for me, it's like, what could I do that, you know, This episode is brought to you by just north of Memphis Barbecue. This is World Champion Barbecue. If you smoke meat and you don't like good barbecue, I do not know what to tell you right now besides you need to try some of this stuff. They've got their rub. They've got their sauces right on their website. They've got their famous dry rub award-winning seasoning that you could put on ribs, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, wings, anything you like to put on the smoker, on the oven, on the grill, any meat you like to cook, you need some of this dry rub seasoning in your life. But don't forget the sauce, because that's award-winning world champion sauce here. No matter what flavor you like, they've got 3 different sauces, and they are all good. You can drink them straight out the bottle. We've got Sweet Christie's for all you sweet-loving barbecue folk. We've got Christie's Mischief for all you spicy bass anglers out there. And then we've got Christie's Gold. And they'll sell all 3 of them in a combo. But you need to go to their website right now. It's jnomemphis.com. That's jnomemphis.com. Dry rub, sauce, barbecue. Let's go! This podcast is brought to you by my brother from another mother, my tournament partner, and the best rod builder north of the equator that still has 20/20 vision, Veselka Fishing and Customs, specializing in custom fishing rods. Your custom rod, the way you want it, because it has to be your rod. However, he has a wide variety to choose from, including his all-new for 2023 custom chicken rod. If you throw the big fluff, the hairy Gary, the rotisserie dissery, the half-ounce Palomalu, the 3/4-ounce rooster biscuit, the lightener looking like D. Snyder, you're going to want to be throwing the Veselka Fishing Chicken Special Big Hair Jig Rod. Mr. Veselka spent a lot of time on this rod, and it has the perfect action to throw, hook, and land those fish that you maybe pulled the bait out from because the rod was too stiff, or had them spit it because your rod didn't have the backbone. Well, the new Chicken Special from Veselka Fishing and Customs has worked to solve both of those issues, along with superior balance and quality components. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. Pick this rod up before it's too late, because up here in the North Country, they about to be schooling. We weren't recording. If we weren't, if this didn't work out, I could say, wow, I learned so much. And what if, this is all about, I just want to talk to people and learn how they think and get to know them. And I think hopefully that translates to the audience, and you develop a connection with the angler, and learning how they think is more, and why they think.
Yeah.
And what is more important than where they fish.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you needed to do is say exactly just that. It's your why, and I think everybody already knew it before you even had to say that.
I appreciate that, dude. I hope so, because like the last thing I want to be is a sleazeball about any of it. Because I
You're
have
not.
so much respect for
Number one, you're
like,
not.
Appreciate that.
No.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for everyone I've had on, and so many more people I want to have on, or just everybody.
Dude,
So I just want to be.
You know what I
wanna-
think your biggest feat is of it all is that I think other people want to be on it with you because you're a fucking hammer too.
Totally.
Facts.
Totally.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Seriously.
Like it's always like a real recognized, real respect game. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's like when someone clicks on the Bass Galaxy and they know that Aaron Teal is running it, they have an understanding.
they're already interested.
Yeah, they're already interested. Like they understand that this dude sells sneaky hair jigs to Noah Schultz underneath my freaking coattails against my will.
Cut.
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 And that's why they know, like, dude, you're a little mad scientist guru that has freaking bass on lock, and you're just dangerous. And that's why I listen, and that's why a lot of other people listen, is because they want to be dangerous. I want to be dangerous. I want to be better. I want to learn new things. I want to freaking excel. And I don't get that by just necessarily watching random YouTube videos or different ad pieces, but it's listening to how accomplished anglers think and the decisions they make and the different things that push them in different directions, and that's the stuff you pull out of people on this podcast, and it's freaking badass.
I'll
It
give you
is.
a perfect example of exactly what Sobi just described. So I think it might have been with John. I think it was with Figgy. But I remember fishing, I don't even know what it was, but it was some tournament on Mille Lacs. You guys won. And it was the one you guys won spawning.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And
Remember
I
that
don't
like
know
it
what
was
one of
yesterday.
these it was, but you dropped like the knowledge on how you did it with your 2D sonar.
Was it NABC?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. Yeah. It was NABC.
Crazy
Yeah.
enough, I was
that one.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah.
That one.
dude. I was filming
Yeah,
Walters
that one.
Walters on that one.
Yeah.
Walters and Ronstrand.
Well, no.
That one
I
felt
was
good.
fishing with Walters.
I got
At
naked
that
that
one.
one.
At that one, I was fishing with Walters.
Ain't no
was
way,
dope.
dude. Walters was fishing Ronstrand.
200 P-Rose.
Dude, if it was a spawning dirt, maybe you're right.
It was a spawning.
Either
day.
way.
Nonetheless, I remember you guys coming in, and I was so like, I had heard like through the grapevine kind of thing, and I was like, okay, but you know, like you guys are like fishing deep spawners, and whatever it was, like right, like I'll try not to get into it too much, but
I
like
don't
I
give a
heard you on one of these, is my point.
Yeah.
Of the knowledge you can gain from these for like even me, like, you know, like I'm always learning, and I never thought of what you guys did to win that tournament.
I gotta give credit to Dane on that one. He
Nonetheless-
initially figured it
No,
out.
and right, I don't mean to
like, I
discredit,
just duplicated it
because it
Dane
was a team
Vaselka,
tournament, but yeah.
he's-
But still,
yeah, he figured it out.
Concept-wise, though, of the point you brought up, Sobi, is that the knowledge drops on this podcast
Oh, yeah, for
are
sure.
very raw, very real, and there's a couple good snippets. You better listen to the whole
That's
dang
why.
thing.
That's why you listen to 2.5 hours long, because
Right.
it's in there. It's in there. Open your ears and shut up and listen, and it's in there. It is.
Yeah, 100%.
That means the world, and I don't think anyone wants to see me blush like you boys are making me blush right now. And that's super thoughtful, and I agree with you. And I think the big thing is for me, like if you're driving to lake for like a long tournament or something,
It's
you
the
got
perfect
3
time
hours to
do
kill.
that.
That's what we're doing, right? Is we're killing time to the water, time to Sobi's next YouTube venture.
Totally.
You
Dude,
know,
I
that
watch
type of
Sobi's
But
thing.
stuff
it
all
gets
the
your
time, 'cause
mind in
you
that
just-
space. It gets you. It gets you amped. It gets you ready. It gets you thinking.
It gets you thinking.
When you're leaving Mars and you're on your way to Venus, like it's a lot of space to
It's a lot of
travel
galaxy.
through. You know what
It's
I mean?
one big wide open
So-
space.
No,
So
it means
here-
the world, and the guests is really what to me makes it fun for me, is because you get to learn little nuggets, and it's not a CNN interview. How'd you win this tournament? What baits did you throw, and where did you throw them? Which is, to me, we need that, but we have it, right? There's a lot of podcasts that are doing that, and we're gonna stay in our own lane in the galaxy. You know what I mean?
There aren't any lanes in the galaxy.
No lanes.
Wide open.
So let's drop some knowledge, and this is me.
I know you got some bombs to drop.
No. This is me coming at it from an inexperienced smallmouth angler that wants to learn a hot tip, just one thing.
Sound like a damn hustler.
I could take
About
away
to
from
fish
this.
the Champions Tour, take my money.
I want to start with JP.
Actually, there's not many small eaters.
Then I want to go to Teal, and then I want to go to Chad.
Keep me out
Give
of this.
me one tip, JP, to make me a better smallmouth angler, deep and shallow.
Can I go first?
Yeah, Chad can go first. Yeah.
Expect the unexpected.
That's a good one.
That is a good one if we're talking smallmouth.
You're up, JP. Give me.
What, you didn't like that one?
No. I want some some baits. I want some situations.
Not to quote Mike Iaconelli, but never give up. But I guess if we're talking baits, deep, dragging the heaviest tube I can get. Need a beer? I thought you were calling me like, hey.
Oh no! Keep your koozie. Give me a cold one.
No, I want to become a like. I'm from the dirty south of southern Minnesota. I've caught plenty of smallmouth in my life, but I overall consider myself an inexperienced smallmouth angler, and I want to be better at it.
How? Last time you came fishing
Sobi.
with Teal and I
No, I didn't.
I made out of the back of Teal's boat.
I didn't say I
that
didn't
you're
mop
Sam
from
Sobi.
time to time. I didn't say I didn't mop up from time to time.
I was waiting
But
for
I knew
your
you had
answer.
style.
But I want to know, how do I become a better smallmouth angler, shallow and deep?
Depends what lake we're fishing. A little bit.
Well, then give me some of that.
Well, I would say keep an open mind. Watch the weather. That'd be mine too.
Why?
Well, because smallmouth are gypsies, so you have to be a little bit open, but they're also fairly predictable, I think. Depending what lake, if you know the body of water you're fishing, I think the smallmouth are fairly predictable.
And sonar is helping.
And I'm not saying I have every lake figured out, but there's lakes where they're more predictable if you understand how your open mind, what the boundaries of that are.
It's like understanding that you need to have an open mind, but knowing that they'll change.
Yes,
And having that like outlook on it, I think helps a lot, because it could be something as like derived as having a good spot with smallmouth, but like knowing their character, it's like understanding how bass thinks.
Yeah.
When it comes to smallmouth, like spotted bass are the same kind of thing, but it's weird when you like almost put yourself in their position.
It's
It's super weird, and it's hard to like comprehend, but like once you like, I know you know what I mean.
I have a vocab word for it.
I
Let's
want to
hear
know
it.
that.
So, like, imagination is a bad word to use, because now we're talking to rainbows and freaking anything, right? But an educated imagination, to me,
I feel
with
you.
smallmouth, like, you're imagining what they could do and the different things they could do, when and why.
Yeah,
And
it's,
you have all these questions or hypotheses.
right, and it's not like calling you out, Sobi, but it's more so like I've gotten asked that question like multiple times, and like the only way I've been able to describe it is like the open-mindedness of it, and like understanding like relations that they have as characteristics, and it becomes like almost too complicated if you think about it in a certain way, but then like you need to almost dumb it down to be like really just lenient with like the decisions you make with it, and just understanding that the fish is moving a certain way.
What's your thoughts, JP? and for all of you that don't know, JP works at Intune Marine, and this dude goes bassing every freaking day after work, all summer long.
And
a-
ladies,
and
he
a-
is single.
Oh my gosh, single as a frickin' Pringle. Look at
Single
the
and
stash.
ready
Look at
to
the frickin' flow.
mingle.
Are you kidding me?
Little Vex.
Do
Us.
you remember fishing out of the pontoon?
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
yeah.
That was a good time.
That was a good time.
That was cool. I
JP
wasn't there, but-
JP just positions himself in a beautiful way in a 25-foot Bentley and proceeds to tell me where to pitch this tube, and I just throttle a 4-pound smallmouth out of a 25-foot Bentley pontoon, and I was like, smallmouth.
That happened.
Smallmouth are so possible. If he can do this here, I
can do this.
I could
there.
do this someday.
That's the thing. JP taught me something sweet on that lake, and it was what he took you to that day. Like, I didn't know about that. I
So
grew up
sweet.
on that lake.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it makes sense with
It
some
makes
current.
sense,
With some
yeah.
current.
I got kind
Current
of a
spot.
cool story on like. Sorry, I not
Nope,
to
you're
interrupt
good.
or anything. I'm just more so like thinking about like the smallmouth mindset.
Let's get into
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So, I've got a cabin up north. I might not name the lake just for the sake of it.
For sure.
But
Tell me what the lake is like though, so I have an understanding.
Oh, here
It's
we
Lake Go Fuck Yourself.
yeah, it's Lake Buzz Off, and it's right around the corner.
Deep
of
clear
FU.
rocks. Is it a shallow flatty lake? Is it
It's,
like come
it's,
on?
It's deep. It's clear. Very sandy.
Does it have structure? It has sand. It has offshore rock. Does it have points? Talk to me.
There's some rocks,
Okay.
like 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 or 17.
Is there rock piles or is there boulders?
There's rock in there. There's also like a lily pad or 8.
Okay. Yeah, it's a smallmouth lake, so we
I'll
carry
tell you what
on.
lake it is later, but it's not that big of
Okay.
a deal. I just need to like, and I guarantee you know it. But
But
nonetheless, my point is that so when I was pretty young, I think I was in like middle school or something, and I had a 14-foot like, or no, actually no, I was in high school and I had my first bass boat. It was a 19-foot Ranger. I actually bought it from Matt Pretzel. Fun fact. Yeah, but it was a 2019-foot Ranger. It was white and blue. My pride and joy at the time. Like, I loved the thing, right? But I brought it up to my cabin, and it was like, I don't know, it was like middle of June-ish or so, and there were some guys like coming out with like snorkeling gear, and they were in like a little John boat kind of thing, and I'm like right on there, like, dude, do you fish out here? I'm like, yeah. And they're like bass? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, dude, the smallmouth are giant out here. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm like, whatever. But they're like, no, like, do you really know? Like called me out on it. And I was like, I mean, yeah, dude, I've caught some big smallmouth out here. Like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 pounders. But like, they're like, no, dude, there's like 6, 7s, and like, I guarantee there's an 8-pounder out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, like, I'm in high school, and I'm like skeptical too, but like, I kind of knew my stuff enough to be like, okay, like, I know the general public on like talking about stuff like that, right? Like an 8-pounder, like
8-pounder.
like
Are they
how many
BSing me
people
or
have
not?
told you they've caught an 8-pounder when it's a 3?
Yeah, and monkeys will
you know?
come flying out of my butt.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But like,
But Terrence caught a 7-pounder on a hot dog once, dude. It was off the dock, and you just nod your head, and you're like, "Oh no, for sure, dude. It happens all the time to me too."
Yeah, dude.
right,
Yeah.
but so what intrigued me from these guys then was they went out all night long, and they would catch crayfish, because like at my cabin they'd all be on the bank, like I used to do it when I was younger all the time, and just go like see all the crayfish with a flashlight on the bank on the beach. And they used to catch them, put them in buckets, and then go out there in their John boat, and then go out to these big rock reefs, and they'd go down there, and they'd just be stomping, they'd be doing all this stuff and whatever, and they said they'd call in smallmouth like it was their day job,
Stomping?
just
Like doing the
putting dust up, like they were like
doing
probably,
the
like,
Cherokee
they were
Indian
probably, like,
stomp.
chest high, just stomping around. They were in snorkeling gear, they were doing all this stuff, and it was like crazy.
But on the bottom, they were.
Right, so like it's just like dust clouds, sand
Yeah.
clouds coming up, and it'd just be whatever. And like
Crayfish.
smallmouth are so curious that they would come up and just see what the heck was going on. And so they'd literally
have this crayfish, and they'd like mess with the smallmouth, like literally like going back and forth, zigzagging with their hand with this crayfish in their fingers, and throw it at them as hard as they could in the water because they were so fast. They said about like 50% of the time it worked, but like the smallmouth would grab it, and so I'm like bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I'm like bullshit. And so I go out there the next day, and I go out on, there's very few rock reefs out there nonetheless.
Very few.
Yeah, there's another hint, Sobi. Okay.
Crayfish at the forge, very few rock reefs, some lily pads in the lake.
Bunch of dudes stomping around.
Narrowed.
Stunting.
Local diving activity.
Crosby
But nonetheless,
area.
so I go out there, and I'm like by myself. It's like 7 in the morning, whatever. And I'm just having fun. I love snorkeling. Like I got like, especially at my cabin, it's very clear. But so I always had a blast doing it when I was growing up, and so I'd be out there, and I did exactly what they described,
Stomped around.
and I'm like, whatever, and I'm just like, it's not working, whatever. I didn't catch any crayfish or nothing, but they like said they were like fortunate enough to like flip over a few rocks and like grab a few crayfish even at times and stuff like that. So like I'm like flipping over rocks just to see before anything, and like I'm dusting up the whole clouds, all this. Dude, I turn around and there's like a 4.5 pound smallmouth just looking at me, like from me to you, Teal.
Just
From, like,
smelling
me to
that
you.
crop dust.
No, from like me to you.
What?
No, like yeah.
Like
And so I'm like over here like doing all this, and I turn around and it's like looking at me, just like whatever, and I'm like, hey, you know, like, and so I am trying to like touch this smallmouth.
With
And-
your hand?
Yeah,
Wait,
with my hand, dude. I'm in the water right now. Like I'm snorkeling.
Wait, how, like nipples or like
Yeah, about
about
like,
nipples?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Now
and
we
you're
have a death
like,
range.
how? Where's the smallmouth?
And so-
like compared to your nipples?
on like about 2 feet from the bottom from me to you.
Okay, so it's deeper.
Right. And
So
so,
it's like
I'm
looking
like
at-
underwater looking at the smallmouth like up here.
Okay, so you're in the water.
And yes.
like hi, like
yeah, and
me
I'm
to
like,
you
I'm
away.
I'm like, dude, what up? And so I'm just like sitting there like trying to like, I'm like going up to this thing, and it's kind of like, can't touch this. No.
It's
You
like
know, and
cocky.
so yeah, totally. And so I like I'm like, no way, and I like start flipping over rocks. I'm like finding crayfish, but they're like really quick. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, this is crazy. And so I'm like, okay, I can't catch a crayfish right now, but like this smallmouth is like following me. Like, I mean, dude, we went like 50 feet.
it's your new
Like,
friend.
and it's just with me.
It
the
just
whole
followed
time.
you.
This only smallmouth, and it's a giant.
big.
Okay, like straight up. And so I'm like, dude, screw this. I'm gonna try to touch it.
Yeah.
Like I gave up on fishing or on feeding it, and like whatever. And I'm just like, okay, let's just try to touch this thing. And so, like, I'd like reach for it, and it'd kind of just like, you know, do its little back off, and I'd like try again, and then like I just started like being a smallmouth. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I was like with it, and eventually it let me just like pet it.
What?
I know
What?
it sounds crazy.
What?
Yeah,
What? 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 It let
Dude,
you pet?
dude, it'd be like a little brush, and it'd just kind of be like this, and it'd come back right to me. Like, dude, it was like a cat. It was crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Domesticated smallmouth? You domesticated a smallmouth?
How-
No recorder, no like flute, like you weren't like rattlesnake fucking. You weren't playing Kenny G or nothing.
Dude,
like,
I was literally snorkel, like out the water, like holding my breath and like going under and like playing with this thing.
Did
it was,
you-
It was
did
like
you
a
try
pet. It was crazy.
capture these smallmouth via hook and line later?
Yes.
Did it work?
No.
It didn't like you at that point.
Yeah, I caught
Like,
a bunch of rock bass.
So I've had cats, and you play like I wonder if you'd have had
No,
like
dude, it
the
was like a
Snoopy
cat.
pole and like the string with like the chartreuse little there and like gotten
Dude,
it to like
no,
chase
like
that
for
around.
real,
The
like,
Thylight.
dude. But
What?
like to the whole point earlier of the questions asked on like how do you predict or like what would your tip be for a smallmouth? That made me realize that there aren't any.
Yeah, I don't.
It's understanding them, dude. They're
What do you
they're-
What do you
I-
learn from that?
I have
Like,
an-
oh yeah,
I have
you
another-
can pet 'em
I don't
and
wanna
then
go on, like,
Jeff
these
Sprag 'em?
rants.
Like what?
I don't want to go on these rants, but like I have another really crazy story. that
Do
you
it.
guys will freak out on.
Off the cuff before you
go
go
to
into that
Yes.
story,
Parlay.
I have ideas now. Like, why would I not tie up the fattest power shot of my entire life? Why would I not power shot a 1 ounce bait and just throw it out on some area that I feel like smallmouth exist in this lake and just whack, 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 stir up the bottom, and then it comes up and just picks up my freaking
That.
drop shot and whack.
What do they call them?
That's a thing.
I think I'm gonna buy a pair of what do they call them?
Pounding?
Mucklucks. I think I'm gonna buy a pair of mucklucks.
Like pounding a power shot?
fucking.
So
You got to
okay,
muckluck the bottom, is what you're saying.
Yeah, let's
Muckluck
hear-
the bottom.
I'm gonna tell you
Let's
guys
hear
something
this
that's
other
gonna blow
story.
your mind.
yeah,
Let's hear.
This one, I'm very very confident will blow your mind.
I'm very confident my
This-
mind is
this
already
is-
blown. But
So I learned this when I was about 6. I think. Yeah. And this is the credit I give fish as a whole, right? Their brain is the size of a peanut.
yep.
You don't think they have a whole lot to offer, and you think you know everything about them. You do not. So when I was like 6, I had like an ultralight and like a 1-inch Rapala. It was a perch color lure, and I would catch the crap out of rock bass on it at my cabin. Okay, just had so much fun, right? Catching every cast basically. It was just fun, right? And so I caught so many that I go to like flip it on the dock and whatever, and the line broke and the rock bass fell in with my perch lure in its mouth. I'm like, oh no, and like I'd go down there like, I mean it's like 6:30 in the morning, like, and the sun rose at 4:30 or whatever the heck you want to call it. And so I'd already been down there for a while, had fun, like I'm about to go back for breakfast, but like I lost my lure and I didn't have anything else with me. I didn't have a scissor, I didn't have pliers, I didn't have anything. I just brought that rod with that bait. And so I'm like, shoot, I don't want to run back to my cabin because we had like neighboring cabins and like they all knew me. I could like fish their docks and whatever. So I was like down the way a little way. Again, water super clear. But so I'm like, so I follow this rock bass that dropped before I flipped it onto the dock, and it goes under the dock. And so I'm like laying on the dock as a kid, my head hanging over, watching this rock bass with its little perch lure in its mouth. And I'm like, gosh dang, I just want to get that back. Especially because like, I just didn't want to lose it because I was catching him on it. And so I'm like going with my rod tip, trying to hit this thing, like doing it, whatever. For like, I laid there for a half hour. It was super crazy because there was like
Fish,
other
like,
rock bass
not,
down there.
like swimming right or
Is it-
like,
No,
Is
it was,
done?
it was just like kind of going around, but it was like chilling. Like, dude, they all sat under the dock. So like there were like probably 50 rock bass and like 20 sunnies sitting under this dock at the time. Like that I was just like watching mine with this lure hanging out
it's good that.
of its mouth. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm just watching this thing laying on the dock, head hanging over. Like it was just like just hardcore for like a half hour. And I'm like hitting the thing, and like I hit the thing like pretty good a few times. Like it was actually like crazy. I'm like, how did it not come off?
Mm-hmm.
Like dang it. And eventually there was a boat lift next to the dock. Like just one of those standard metal boat lifts. I kid you not, I watched this rock bass go up to one of the posts. He like swam up, hit his cheek on the boat lift. Nothing happened. Went back up, hit it again, knocked the lure out of his cheek. It landed on the post, the perpendicular post of the dock lift. I dipped down with my rod tip, picked it up, and I go, I will never underestimate a fish ever in my life again.
Damn.
That's
Smarter than you think.
No further questions, Your Honor. Wow.
and that's a rock bass.
And that is the bottom.
Right?
That is the bottom of the barrel.
I was
I was like,
Knocking
Rocky
perch
Rococo,
rattlers
you
out.
got a little more to you than I thought.
People don't even knife them; they have worms.
I finesse those rock bass. I don't know about you guys, but I finesse those rock bass. Okay?
Dude, 100%. I've caught them on bare
Yeah.
hooks. Like, I even had, like, there's a lodge next to my cabin. Oh, hint number whatever. Okay. Hey,
Lodge.
yeah, I want to hear you guess it before I tell you.
Lodge.
But
Puzzle.
they said even the turkey vultures want to eat the Rockies.
Turkey vultures.
Interesting.
I'm going to tell you guys, and you're going to be like, no way.
No, yeah, it's not what we're expecting.
I guarantee it might be.
No further
It
questions.
for sure totally maybe
Well,
is.
what I do know is that lake has the smartest rock bass.
Dude,
Yeah.
no, but
In
isn't,
the
isn't
land.
that crazy?
That is it. Just
What?
makes you double back and think like
Let me just get this.
Let me get this.
They're
No, but
freaking
it's like a one-time thing. You're like, did I just see something? And then you're like, no, it did it again. It went right back up and just knocked its cheek.
I don't know,
I was
man.
like,
You were
that's
6.
crazy.
I don't know. I'm just
No, I know, right?
Oh my god.
Dude, I won't ever forget
What?
it. It was crazy.
Yeah,
That-
dude.
That is wild.
Forget
that-
everything you've ever heard about fishing. Just turn it all off.
Like from now on, I will get outsmarted by a bass.
Most of them.
And I'll
We
accept
all
it.
get outsmarted by most of them, I think.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah.
so. I don't know what that tells me.
Especially
What
the
that
rock
teaches
bass.
me.
Jesus.
But
was like,
smallmouth
what I did.
shallow, smallmouth deep. If you catch a rock bass,
I was just trying to change the
You're getting your lure
subject,
back.
Sobi.
So, yeah, where were we? I love it.
I
But
I
where
asked
were we?
originally if you could give me one piece of advice for smallmouth shallow and smallmouth deep. What
Yeah.
would you give me?
I think we all got through that, except you.
Yeah.
So
No, I
it's
was
your
the one
turn.
asking
What's
the
your
question.
advice?
Oh my gosh.
What are you holding back?
If you catch a smallmouth, let it go. Cast back, catch a rock bass. And if you break off, look to the nearest post.
You're kind of a simpleton, though. Like on the real, like getting down to the nitty gritty. You don't overcomplicate things, and that's one thing I've learned to appreciate about you. And when you get in my boat, is you're 3-rod Todd, and you're gonna catch them on one of them 3.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I
3
do.
Dob Todd.
I
or
do
whatever
think-
you want to call your signature Dob Todd.
I think I'm a simpleton, but at the same token, like, especially like off camera and just playing around, like I dick around with a lot of different lures, a lot of hooks, a lot of everything. I play around till I find stuff that I really like, and then I do stick with it. So like I probably think I'm a simpleton, but I experiment a lot. Maybe that's the way to put it.
Sorry. No, yeah, I like that. I like that. What's the balance between Sobi on camera versus off camera?
Ooh.
It's a hard balance, I'd say, and that's a great question.
Like either way, all good, right? It's just more so curious.
Yeah, no, either way, it's all good. I'm my own worst enemy because like when you put together a film or a video, you try your best to create a story, right? And in a story, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you don't have to necessarily tell it in that order, but there's a beginning, middle, and end. And I feel like to create a good story, you have to touch on all those parts, right? And my worst enemy is myself because I like fishing. Like, I don't care if we're going for crops or bass or walleyes or
crops got me geeked, dude.
or if we're ice fishing. Like,
Crops.
dude, I am about it. I'm an absolute. I don't know why. I feel like even the last 2 years, I'm just a giddy child. I'm just fired up about it, every bit of it, and especially bass, obviously.
That's the beauty.
But like when you get into a zone, or especially
Majestic, really.
yeah, and especially if you don't catch them right
quite.
away, if you don't catch them right away and you go into like search and destroy mode, you're like, I could care less what cameras are in existent. Everything is away, and we're gonna go catch their ass. Like now I'm pissed, and you just go and you go and you go and
Throw your
like you
camera
said-
right in the lake, and you say,
Yeah.
I don't want it.
the difference between myself on camera, off camera is if I caught him, I kind of knew I was going to catch him. If I catch him, I might have just caught him and figured him out,
Have
and
you
I
ever-
didn't film anything about it because
you
it's
ever-
just like I'm out bassing or I'm out fishing, and it's I don't know.
Usually,
Have-
got it.
Have
You
you
know what
ever
I-
gone out
you know
and
what I
been
mean?
like had a good day that you wish you filmed?
I know that's probably a given, right? But
Like probably 5 million days, like
Yeah.
5 million days, and those are the days.
Does that happen more often than not?
Oh, 100%. Like for every film
Do
that
you think
comes,
there's a reason for that?
yeah.
Why?
It's because you go out there with a preconceived notion of how you're gonna do it, and then it doesn't work, and then you get pissed, and I throw all the cameras on the ground, and then we just go fishing, and we figure it out a different way, and we beat their ass, and then I just like continue to beat their ass down to the ground, and you just boom, 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 and you go home, and then
you're like, shit.
and then Mama Steph the Great will be like, "How was bassing?" or "How was fishing?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just crushed them." And
Wax
she's like,
that ass,
and
honey.
she's like, "Oh, cool, dude, you get a video?" And I was like, "Oh no, we weren't filming." And she'd
She's
be
like,
"What?
And she'd be like, she'd be
Isn't
like-
that what you do?
and she'd be like, "Oh, why? That sounds like the story from Monday and Tuesday." And I was like, Wednesday was also the same, but Thursday we're gonna go out with guns blazing. Sorry.
I mean, that's okay. though.
Thursday
I
we're
just-
making
I
a
just, like,
movie.
I
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like tough because down at the core, I'm a fisherman first, and that makes filming hard.
Imagine if people knew how good you actually were.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Dude,
saying.
Like, yeah, no, you guys
For
haven't
real.
seen shit.
Noah, look deep into the camera right here. It's over. I'm sorry.
I'm excited to watch you this season on
I'm-
the
I'm
championship.
not.
I'm excited too.
I am.
I'm excited to watch him
Not
in my
ex-
rear view.
People
Score tracker update.
score tracker update.
Sobi is right behind you.
People
Sounds good.
people on this podcast say all the time,
Just kidding.
and other podcasts too, like, and it's so typical, but time on the water is everything, and I'm the biggest proponent of that, and I don't care, especially for where we're competing in the Champions Tour, Minnesota, largemouth. If you spend so much time on the water understanding weeds and not even understanding bass, you understand bluegill, you understand crappie, you understand the bait, you understand movement, you understand spots, you understand how fish relate to spots, you understand how weeds grow, and you understand differences in lakes. And that all comes from time on the water. I think that's where people shine. And like you know, Aaron, going down south, making adjustments on Hartwell and different places like that, there's some local knowledge that comes into it. The more time you spend on the water, I don't care if you're up north, middle America, down south, the more time you spend out there and just understand the concept of how fish are moving around bodies of water and understanding how fish are using lakes and how fish are feeding, that's when people get deadly. And that isn't translated in my videos as much as I'd like it to be.
Well,
But
that
I- I'm
is.
gonna do
It is
though.
now.
No, but
Because-
I'm telling you, it's
That's a hard thing to do, though.
it's so
'Cause
hard.
What he's
'Cause
trying
you
to
think
say.
about like the question you just asked, and how we both all answered, is how you're trying to portray your videos.
Yeah,
That's a hard thing to do.
it's tough.
What he's trying to say is if you want to have your best days on the water, let those camera batteries die.
And just go.
Let her eat, baby.
Go
Yeah,
until
totally.
you find him.
Dude, it's
eating.
crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Like,
It's you
I
know.
don't know.
To make a
We all
fishing
know.
to make a fishing
Everybody
show
knows.
cool is tough.
It
Dude,
is
it's
tough.
so tough.
It's
Most
so
of them
tough.
are staged. Except
I don't even
Sobi.
know anything about it. But like,
You see all his shitty days, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No,
You make him look pretty good.
You don't
like I was
see
down
how-
in Florida for the first, like, or like not the first time, but like we went out like fun fishing. And I caught like the video like Sobi rap too and whatever, like right. But I got like 32 pound, like almost 33 pounds by myself for my best 5, and I didn't even have my GoPro in the boat, but my buddy had his and didn't even tell me. Like it's that kind of like weirdness, right?
Yep.
No.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And I'm
That
like,
is-
of course. And we go get my GoPro after I realize all this. We never got another bite.
Dude, oh my
was like,
gosh.
what the
welcome
heck,
my
bro?
whole world.
You know? Like
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything wrong until my GoPro was running.
Cameras, like, you have to learn how to stare into the devil's soul. you know,
Totally.
type of
It's,
deal.
it's like a curse, and
It's a hard
just-
thing to do, dude.
Yeah, and then especially when
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com. This podcast is brought to you by my brother from another mother, my tournament partner, and the best rod builder north of the equator that still has 20/20 vision, Veselka Fishing and Customs, specializing in custom fishing rods. Your custom rod, the way you want it, because it has to be your rod. However, he has a wide variety to choose from, including his all-new for 2023 custom chicken rod. If you throw the big fluff, the hairy Gary, the rotisserie dissery, the half-ounce Palomalu, the 3/4-ounce rooster biscuit, the lightener looking like D. Snyder, you're going to want to be throwing the Veselka Fishing Chicken Special Big Hair Jig Rod. Mr. Veselka spent a lot of time on this rod, and it has the perfect action to throw, hook, and land those fish that you maybe pulled the bait out from because the rod was too stiff, or had them spit it because your rod didn't have the backbone. Well, the new Chicken Special from Veselka Fishing and Customs has worked to solve both of those issues, along with superior balance and quality components. So head on over to his website, veselkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. Pick this rod up before it's too late, because up here in the North Country, they about to be schooling.
you're doing it, like, for those guys out there that have camera boats or cameramen, I respect them, but anybody that self-films, I respect them tenfold. And I don't even care if it's just a GoPro, because the matter of fact that you set it up and you put it up and maybe you're interacting with it and then you have it on when it actually goes down, because, like, I don't care who you are, what your knowledge or your experience is in fishing, but when it's going down, the last thing on your mind is grabbing the frickin' camera, and the first thing on your mind is throwing right back out there, and you proceed to whack. And then you whack, and then you whack, and then you go in and you go, dude, we so should have recorded that.
Right.
I heard if you don't record it, it didn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah.
nowadays,
It
it's
didn't
like,
happen.
I don't believe you.
It's just, it's,
No, it's crazy how that works though, and I think
Yeah.
I think it all goes back to like the mind game.
100%.
It's
You
a
know?
mind game.
yeah.
JP runs a little bit of camera.
I do.
He could attest to some. It's being. Try being the cameraman, and the guy's like, "Dude, we caught him here yesterday." And like,
What do you think, JP? Since you have a
I mean-
wide array of camera knowledge
I-
and editing knowledge, and you know the sport of fishing. What's your thoughts on it?
I'd say you have more behind the camera and fishing. I've gone out with Teal a handful. I mean, I give it to Teal teaching me a lot. But just filming Teal, and then, you know, what do we do with the foot? What do we do with it? How do you make it interesting for someone like us to view it? Like that's the name of the game. If I'm not gonna enjoy watching it after I'm done viewing it, you guys aren't gonna care about it.
Yeah.
So that's like you said,
I like about you.
having a start to the story, the middle, or what have you. Like I remember when we first started talking, I asked you 100 questions, and I was like, "What do I got to do to get better?" And I was like, "You just got to have like a purpose to every one of your projects. Like there's got to be, if you're trying to sell this custom color, or you're trying to sell Aaron Teal fishing, or smallmouth fishing, this lure, whatever it is, there has to be a story to it, and it has to be interesting, I guess. I don't know, to keep your attention.
Dude, totally.
It's tough as nails, dude.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Dude,
It's tough.
you're
It's tough.
so naturally
You're
good
good
at that,
storyteller.
Sobi.
100%.
It's insane.
It's tough. It's tough though. Like, dude, it's just tough because, like you said, like,
You don't make it look that way.
You make it look easy.
but especially as you, like you've done so much in video now, JP, and Chad, you've watched how many hours of GoPro footage, like, and especially yourself doing it, like when you watch yourself, like after a while you watch yourself or you watch enough fishing footage that you're like, is that even prominent? Like, do I even put
Yeah.
that out? Do I just burn this? Should I just burn this? Is this even important?
Yeah.
And I'm not a good steward at doing this, but I think everyone should do this, is just freaking put it out. Put something together and put it out.
Even your bad days.
It's tough
Even
for
your
him,
bad days.
especially when he caught him so much better the day before without the camera.
That's
You know
what I'm
I mean?
saying.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
But you know what I mean? Because
For
your
sure.
your
For
pre-
sure.
your,
For
pre-
sure.
your previous perspective was so much better than what just happened, and that's the worst part. Is like, you know what could have went down, or you know what you just caught here. You know what happened, and you're just like, no way, and or even if
I feel like you're somewhat speaking to like content genuine. Like,
How do you mean?
I don't know what the word is. Genuineness, genuinely,
Genuinity?
Yeah, I don't know.
Genuinity.
Being genuine with your content.
yeah,
How about that?
Authenticity?
Yeah,
Yeah.
authenticity. Thank you. Yeah,
Authenticity.
but like sometimes consistency is key, and when you're like posting it all, like minus the editing of like, you know, what makes a project, but aside from that, just being like consistently posting of something somehow, some way.
yeah, and we also need to understand that sometimes some of our mediocre days might be a really good day to a viewer or somebody else, or it might
Yeah.
help a viewer, or it might be something. And also, just put it out there. I've said this on other podcasts before many times, but like, my relatives and grandpa love to fish. I've only ever seen one photo of him holding a fish ever. That's nothing. You know what I mean? Like he's gone and passed now. So that's all I have of him and from his fishing career. But it's true though. You know what I mean? It's just like, put it out there, because like at the end of the day, you might look back on this, or your relatives or your grandkids or whoever might say, you might not be super impressed with a 17.5-pound day on one of your favorite lakes. That might not be that super impressive to you, or a 16-pound day, but it's out there now, and it's there forever.
That's one of my
and
favorite
somebody
things
can watch
about
that.
you, dude. I've watched you say that from the day you started with anything, like
Yeah.
with all this, and
I think
it's super, super cool because you're literally documenting your life.
Yeah.
You're like
in
the
a
Nike
good way,
of
like-
YouTube. Like, just do it. Just put it out there.
Just do it.
Just put it out there.
I wish that was more of my
do it.
mentality.
But dude, you've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to like hear you still on that because
I'm still on that.
But
I'm
you're
trying,
right,
I'm
dude.
trying to remember that to myself, like today, like tomorrow,
But,
and the
like-
next day. Like I'm really trying to
you
like.
got to think about that too, because like I look at like my family and my relationships and all this stuff, and like I don't always take like a selfie with my family, with my mom, with my dad,
I
with
never
my
do.
sister, my
That's a good
nieces,
point.
like whatever. I never do that.
Yeah.
But they're always gonna have a documentation on you.
Yeah.
I don't have a documentation on my family.
No, my mom's a
It's weird.
scrapbooker.
Yeah.
She's
You know?
got it dialed, but I don't. To your point.
Yeah. It's
But
just
same thing
crazy.
as like a scrapbooker, like anything,
Like
like
he makes a good point.
Hopefully the grid doesn't crash because Facebook's all we got at this point, right?
But even like
Yeah.
at my house,
Pictures.
I've got this little tiny shelf, and it's like a dry bar. It doesn't have a sink, so it'd be called a dry bar, not a wet bar, right?
Yeah.
Above that,
Technically.
I've got these 2 cork boards, and above all of them, I like went to Walgreens one day, and I just unleashed on my camera roll from like the past 2 years, and I have like 400 photos printed out, physical photos from like times that because like when I'm not filming, I'm fishing with buddies, doing just greasy fishing, like with Hayes. You know what I mean? And those are my favorite memories. And I have from those days, like 2 or 3 photos from those days. And I have them printed out now in a collection of like 400 photos here, 400 photos there. And I printed them out because I know someday this is going to hop in the drink. I know someday I have nothing backed up to the cloud. Are you kidding me? Like I have some physical form of those memories that weren't exactly captured in a YouTube video or weren't exactly appropriate at the time. Not that they're inappropriate photos, but just like we're just out on a Friday night enjoying cold beers and we're going tiger muskie fishing. Boom, mama catches a tiger muskie. I got pictures of it. Boom, Hayes Baldwin is doing a backflip off the boat. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
I have
Well-
photos of those, and I feel like that I have a little bit of documentation,
that.
but I printed it out.
I got to admit, that's the softest shit I've ever heard in my life. So much that we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I would like to wrap this up intergalactically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Planetary?
Because I love you guys. Intergalactically. So what I want to know from each of you as we wrap this up is, do you believe in aliens? And if you do, what's your idea of them? And whoever wants to go first can go first.
I'll start it off.
up. You
Chad?
go first. You spoke first.
Spoons.
Aliens are definitely out there, and I believe in Elon to figure it out. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
I've seen them. It's cool. It's fine.
Okay. Do you care to elaborate, Mr. Smith? You care to elaborate?
Please tell me you're on your boat.
Do you?
I was on Lake Hatchinaha, part of the Kissimmee chain. And,
Florida. Has to be Florida.
yes.
Florida man
yes.
sees alien.
NASA.
Florida man sees alien.
No, dude,
Headline.
this was crazy.
He's like, I
And-
swear, boys. I swear.
So I was standing with a buddy. We were like all hanging out. Everyone went to sleep. It was just me and a buddy. He'll tell you the same story. Garrett Rockamora.
Okay.
What? Okay.
Uh,
Oh, you said Rockamora? Yep. Nope. That's good.
Total-
Checks
total-
out.
he'll
Checks
tell
out.
you.
Florida native, Florida
Checks
hammer,
out.
Florida
Yep.
beast.
Florida
He'll tell you
headline.
the
Checks out.
Same story. But so we were like chilling, and like the video is gonna help this, but we saw like all of a sudden we're like about to go to bed, and we like look up and there's like this tree line over the lake that we're seeing and like whatever, and all of a sudden like 3 like flaming like orbs just like formed in this
Sea
sky.
bass.
No, I'm serious. No, I'm dead
Orbs.
serious. And we're like
Orbs.
we're completely sober. We're completely chilling. It's the
No
night
way.
before the tournament.
You're stoned to the gills.
No.
Don't lie to me.
No,
Okay. Shit.
No, dead ass.
Rigging
Swear.
rods, just chilling.
Like chilling. Yeah.
Got it.
Like about to go to bed, everyone already went to bed, and we
more
were
of
just
the
like
world
talking,
shit.
telling fish stories, and it was like, we just like we're like, whoa, what? And, like we freaked out. We were like screaming in the campsite, like knocking on everyone's campers, like pulling them out, like freaking out.
War of the world shit.
And so,
Oh boy.
so there's like 3 like fireballs that like start
Intergalactic
in the
communication.
sky, but it's like over this tree line that we like, I don't know, it's like a good distance. Like if you were to consider like the aluminum versus like the ceiling corner,
Yeah.
like kind of like distance, but like in a tree line in the distance, right? And all of a sudden, like we're like, what the heck is that? And they all went away at like different timing. And like 30 seconds later, we're like miles down on the same tree line and formed in like a straight line. And then we were freaking out, you guys.
Were
And
these flying saucers?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And so all of a sudden we were like, what is going on? And they all just like went like this and just like dispersed in like different, and we were like, we stood there in silence for like 5 minutes. Like that's a long time of standing in silence.
These were
That is a long time standing silent.
and these objects
And we were
weren't
like, where did
human.
we were waiting for them to come back because we just saw them reappear.
This isn't
Describe the object better because
Dude, it was like
I'm trying to
a
understand.
flaming. It was like, it literally looked like a flaming orange ball of fire.
What?
It was so weird, dude.
I've never heard that.
This is in
alien
Florida?
story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kissimmee chain, Lake Hatchinaha.
So Sobi's got something
that's
cooked up.
certified. No, we're going to JP because JP's like, I got.
No, I already said I believe in aliens. I haven't seen anything.
Dude, I'm
Like that.
I'm not kidding. I was like,
Goodness gracious!
something happened that night.
Great balls of fire.
I wish I had a story to back on this or support this, but I tell you this much. I believe in Chad. I believe in JP. And if they believe in aliens, so do I. And that's my take.
Big review guy, big Yelp review guy. I read the reviews before I make my decisions.
4 stars.
I'm glad he said
Chad
that.
and JP left a Yelp review that said aliens are real, so
4 stars.
I'm hopping on that wagon. I like that.
4 stars.
Well, I mean, who are we to think that we're the only species? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of an egotistical, cocky way to think.
You asked in a previous podcast if you think there's bass other places.
On other planets?
Yeah. Well,
I
thoughts
mean-
on that now?
I don't see why there couldn't be. I don't see why there couldn't be people having a podcast just like us, 2 galaxies away. Like, to be honest, like go outside. The Big Dipper's upside down, just to the north of this garage, right? And that Dipper's upside down. But you think of that Dipper. Each point on that Dipper is a sun.
Yeah, that's odd.
You know what I mean? Like our sun, you think about how much we had the garage door open. That sun was radiating.
Yeah.
And that is what our life revolves around. Without a sun, there's no Sobi.
It's facts.
So, like, to say that there's those thousands of stars and no one bass fishing is kind of a mind-blowing statement to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's happening in probably at least 100 galaxies, if you want my honest opinion.
Like how much riprap is there out there that a DT6 is rolling over?
Honestly, I think the Japanese get their techniques from outer space.
That's what I'm saying. The
like,
whole,
you know
the
what
whole,
I mean?
The whole
like
dice deal.
aliens, they visit. They don't visit the Earth.
They
They
visit
visit Japan.
Japan. Yep.
You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
like, put hair in your dice.
Yep.
Throw it on spinning rod. Light fluorocarbon to light braid leader.
Get it? Oh.
Teal,
That is the most unfun far-fetched thing I've ever heard, and it's like I'm serious.
I mean, the planet of Naboo has developed all the JDM techniques. That's where, like, all JDM techniques come from aliens. That's what we were just talking about.
So you do
like,
believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens, but I don't believe they land on Earth. I believe they land in Japan
Yeah.
and give, like, the
Yeah.
galaxy's bass fishing techniques to Japan. They're like, this is on you to spread throughout the
Yo,
galaxy.
can I give a
We
quick-
are from the planet of Naboo, and we want you to take this.
Can I give a quick shout out to somebody quick?
Fuck yeah.
So this is like no plug. Like I'm not associated with anyone in any which way, but
Bang, bang.
But I live right down the road from. I live in Mound, right around like the west side of Lake Minnetonka, and there's a new tackle store that opened up.
Waypoint.
Angler. Yeah, it's pretty legit. And they got a lot of JDM stuff.
They do,
It's
dude.
pretty cool.
Dane was
dude.
telling me
It's-
about
it's,
it.
It's pretty fun. Like it's kind of like one of those fun new shops that like you never really thought would like pop up around us. And they've got like some things that are very intriguing to the sense of like there's a tackle store called North Carolina Tackle Company or something, but it's around Lake Norman. And it reminds me a lot of that. It's maybe not quite so like JDM oriented as like they are, but it's kind of a fun new place. And I mean, they've like a couple buddies work there and stuff like that. It's kind of fun, and it's cool to have it right down the road for me. So I'm like,
That place sounds sneaky.
What Chad is trying to say is the planet of Naboo has also chosen to land
Exactly.
on Lake Minnetonka at Waypoint Angler Supply to deliver all the latest innovations in tackle and the galaxy's wild variety of bass tricking snacks.
Yep.
oh man, I couldn't have said that better myself.
Woo! And you can order them
buttery.
right from the dock, right through the channel on the way to Cook's Bay from West Arm, baby.
And I'll be there on next Friday.
I'm
before
going
fishing
tomorrow.
Monday.
Drop some bills, drop some Benjis.
Get
I'm
it
gonna
while it's
drop
hot,
some
man.
Harriet Tubmans at that place, dude.
Dude, straight up. All my friends are dead.
About to drop some. About to
dead
drop
presidents?
some tubs. Oh, that
Jackson's, Franklin's, either one of them.
Yeah. Well, R.I.P. Tubbs. Waypoint Angler Supply is taking all my tubs tomorrow, baby. All my Tubmans is going to the Waypoint Angler Supply.
You folks at Waypoint Angler Supply, whatever the name is of your shop, you owe Aaron Teal and the Bass Galaxy, especially Lil K Moss, a check for just that wicked plug.
Okay,
That was a plug.
That was a plug.
That was so smooth. It hurt.
that was a plug. You owe him a check.
I got a
Send it in
sliver
there.
that was so smooth. That sounds
That
wrong.
doesn't sound very smooth.
No.
Doesn't sound very smooth. But you can get your jig worms on the water at Waypoint Angler Supply. So get you some of that. And don't you forget about your Vasilka Fishing and Customs custom fishing rods sold exclusively at Waypoint Angler Supply. That's Waypoint Angler Supply. So when that cigar boat throws a 4-footer and you lose that new NRX, don't you even think about worrying. Stop on over to Waypoint Angler Supply, pick you up a brand new Vasilka custom fishing rod, and proceed to keep on catching.
Yep, them's is there.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Sam Sobi. This is JP. This is Aaron Teal. This is Chad Smith. This is the Bass Galaxy. Thank you so much for having us out. We're going to wrap this up before we fully get canceled and kicked off the internets. The internets are a dark place, and I feel like we're just edging toward it. But like you said,
We're about to get into some extracurriculars.
The
This
dark
podcast
web.
is brought to you by Coors Light.
The dark web definitely exists in the galaxy.
We might need to go straight there.
Checking in, checking out.
Thanks, everybody. Boys, this was a pleasure.
happy days. Give me one
Cheers.
last happy days.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Toodaloo, buckaroos.
Checking in, checking out. Bow. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.